streets are changing, my pace quickens now.
Rule Britannia!
No longer safe, indoors we wait. Only numbers save us now. Islam rules, cause the government fools just tools, breaking the rules.
Communism is king.
Englishman doing what he can, work around the clock to make his living. A family he can't give it, he can't give out. He's a slave, a guy that entrapped soul. No goal other than look out the window and back to work. I guess since you put yourself first. Well, tonight sleep safe. Patriots on guard, oh yeah, yeah, patriots on guard. So you can sleep now, yeah, 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 oh.
Commander Worf, don't be a cunt.
Yeah, 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 oh.
I'm having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
Having a ball!
Fuck you, Mr. Roscoe.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
That's
for B4. For what?
But it's with my oh, yeah, it's with
Shut the fuck up!
We stand and we fight and it's alright, cause we never back down. We face the day without a frown. We take this piss and we enjoy this time. To make this time. I bet it's been a while since you laughed a lot. I bet it's quite a while since you put yourself first. Well, tonight sleep safe. Patriots on guard, oh yeah, yeah, patriots on guard. So you can sleep now, yeah, 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 oh. So you can sleep now, yeah. It's quite a while since you put yourself first. Well, tonight sleep safe first. Patriots on guard, oh yeah, patriots on guard. So you can sleep now, yeah, 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 oh. Sleep now, you got your back now.
Yo! Tom Fury, Zero News, and why is my background not all messed up and blurry and that? Do you know what? I don't know, but after the morning I've had trying to get things to work, and it has been a morning I'm not even going to bother to find out. So this is a relaunch of Zero News, which we have been stuck on a channel that has not only been demonetized, but has been de-everythinged. And the only thing that's remained is really the name, and even I managed to change that. So it's a relaunch of the channel today. People will hopefully be coming over from different places. We've got some new people and small people. Hopefully we'll start mixed together. We're getting a bit of a community going, but it's going to be small steps at first. So to help me have a good conversation, I have not brought these two on. To help me with the first show, to help me with the first launch, I've got a man who is known as the black face of white supremacy. the far right blackface himself. No, seriously, and a great friend and a brilliant activist. Danny Roscoe joins us. And also that moaning northern bastard. I meant to say brilliant guy who always supports me. Viindicator strikes back, the guy that has been going out there every day and going out and doing constant good work, and his videos prove it because he's got these 10-minute hits in the morning. You just can't let them go. So, and Danny Unfiltered does the same at night. So bring in Viindicator and welcome Viindicator to the new show.
How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Yeah.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Good to see you all. It's good to see the three of you on the screen. So yeah, so I called you a moaning northern bastard, and I called you the blackface of white supremacy.
It's true, though. It's true. I'm a moaning northern bastard.
I couldn't just do a normal intro. Danny, you remember when we first did the Roscoe and Fury, you didn't know what to do because I started doing this crazy intro on you. Do you remember?
Yeah. Long time ago. But now, do you know what it is now? Now I'm mainstream. I'm not even controversial anymore. What I'm saying is not even like, it's not even like, oh, that is the blackface or white supremacy action. That is just normality now, which is good because it means that we've done a lot to get the message where it needs to be. So yeah, I think now it's not shock anymore. It's normality, and let's get it sorted.
I remember giggling with you one day going, if you were white, then you basically would be far right, but because you're not cussed.
I've got a cloak. I've got the invisible cloak, so I used it.
But I love the way that you have over the years. I don't know if you've seen it, but Dan has used it, but he said you've announced it, haven't you? You've said if you're going to keep playing these games, the identity politics games, okay, I'll play it then. And you've even said it to the policemen, you've said it to other people ahead of time, and they still play the game.
Exactly, that's what you've done. If they want to play it, then let's play it. And that's where you start moving. They start moving the goalposts, and they start saying, "Oh, actually, we have to start actually being a bit more honest because we can't actually, legitimately say that, I am okay to be saying what I say, and I say a lot more on purpose than anyone else. I go further than a lot of people on purpose, so they can't say, listen, you and Vin said this, and that's incorrect, and Danny said a lot worse, but that's okay. You have to show their hypocrisy."
Well, the one thing that you and Vin, and I hope myself, have got in common is that we're all capable of going on X and just calling out bullshit when we've had enough of it. And whatever form that takes, I think Vin, like when you were seeing the you realised there was basically a bot account on X that was just putting out old news, for instance. But it's being able to pull these things out without fear of what you were doing was a good public service, letting people know. But people are so frightened to call out anything on their own side, and it's like that was actually real public service, because until you called that out, nobody realised that those two accounts are basically the same account.
Oh, this is the thing that holds the right back. It's this tribalism. It's like this lack of ability to call people out when they need to be called out, and it's not out of malice. It's just out of keeping our side on the right track. That's all it is. It's not about personal vendettas or anything like that. It's just about keeping people on the track and making sure the movement's going in the direction it should be going. Because if we don't call it out, we're just giving ammunition to our opponents to say, look, you're not calling it out. Look, it's happening, even though they're doing it themselves.
You've seen the post. You've seen the post on X where there's some white guy who's been done for a crime, so therefore justice has been meted out. But the left always jump on it and say, "Oh, see, you don't mention it."
And this is the hypocrisy of them, right? Because they'll call me out and say, "Well, why aren't you mentioning this? Well, he's been brought to justice. He's gone to court." The fact we call out the Muslim grooming gangs is because they're not being called out, because they've been covered up for decades. It's like, and by the way, and this is what I say to them, by the way, where's your post about those people? Because I don't see any.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. We're more liable to make a post about a white guy committing that kind of stuff because it makes no odds to us. He's a scumbag regardless.
Yeah, but Tom, we don't have to, because it's the default position of every normal human being that sexual predators are evil. We all know this. We don't need to call it out, really. The only reason we're calling out the Muslim side of things is because it was covered up and the authorities allowed it to happen.
Exactly, and you've both seen it. So this whole British born thing is being taken as some kind of victory recently, and they're doing a victory lap over British born. To me, that highlights the problem that now we've got second generation terrorists being homegrown. But then
it proves integration isn't happening, isn't it? Integration isn't happening at all, and because they're being radicalized in mosques, that's what's happening. And we've got this also. Why do you need to integrate in a country when you've got a little tiny bubble of your own country as a colony in this country anyway? You don't need to integrate. Do you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Danny, you did interview with Louise over Dave Rudikabana, and she indicated that his parents probably had something to do with random genocide, unprovable, but and his father. Unsurprisingly, to probably Vin, his father came out recently and said that. By the way, his father discovered the ricin in his room 2 days before he committed the crime. So surely his father is culpable for a crime. Yeah, liable. And and the stats of people not dobbing people in, right? But his father found it 2 days before, and his father's come out recently. And I'm not sure if you guys were aware of this. And he has blamed David Rudikabana's actions on this country, his lack of being welcomed, even though he was born here, his lack of being welcomed into the country's culture, and how unwelcome it is. That's why David Rudikabana happened.
What a load of rubbish that is.
It's crazy.
If anything, this country bends over backwards, doesn't it?
Exactly, and he's got other sons that are not radicalized as well. But you know, this is the problem, and this is why it's, you know, the British born versus, you know, the people who live in their own colonies. You could be a third or fourth generation person and still not speak a word of English, and it's about, you know, about us understanding that if we're going to be now letting in more people, yeah, and we can't trust anyone. They're saying let's bring in the Afghan people who helped us during the Afghan war, but we can't trust them because they've just one of their people have just murdered somebody in America. So we can't trust even the people who we thought that we was helping. They have this disdain towards the West. So what we need to do essentially is to put it on them and let the people kick off like Ilhan Omar is doing in America. Trump's done it perfectly. He put it on the Somali community and he's seeing who is rising up. And then people who rise up, we just got to straight deport them. You know, I don't care if you're born here. If you don't have the values of this country, and if you think that your mother country is worth more than the country you live in, then you will go there. And if you don't go there, we'll have to put you in some colony. And people are going to say, this is not, we can't do that because you're talking about second and, you know, first and second generation people. Well, we can do that because all you have to do is put it in law to say, if you are not there for the country, if you're not going to be acting for the country, who's not going to be a danger or a menace, then sorry, you can't be here. It's simple as that. We've got to this position by having these soft laws and this woke ideology, and that we have to chop off the head of the snake essentially and say, there's the line. That's it. Like it or not, you've got a choice.
You've got to be fully prepared to integrate. So by the time you're having kids, they should be brought up on English and English values and morals and everything else. Do you guys agree?
Exactly. If you've not integrated by now, if somebody whose mum, right, is not integrated by now, then the whole family is not going to integrate because they don't have to, right? So there has to be that shock factor of saying, well, actually, we have to. Of course, we can do a transitional period. Of course, we can say all of these people, if they want to stay here and they're not a danger to here, to learn to speak the language and that, but not the way that we're doing it now. Of course, we can do that. But if people are that hardened to say, no, we're not doing it, respect our community, then sorry, we can't have them here.
So question for both of you, right? So Vin, right? So imagine we weren't quite in the situation we're in now with migrancy, because obviously it's hard to discuss some of this when we're in the state that we're in. But imagine we weren't in the state that we're in now. Do you think it's fair enough to look at countries like Pakistan, well, actually, there's a whole group of them around there, Egypt even at times, but Egypt you can put to one side, but the majority of it being, oh, sorry, I can see your comments coming up now, guys. There's a lot of places around a certain area, around Pakistan kind of area, where you wouldn't, go on holiday, and ideally, you don't want people coming from there. There's a reason it's not on your holiday list. There's a reason it's not on anybody's holiday list. And yet we spend loads of aid money in these places.
Yeah, ban it. Ban it.
And we import people from these places.
Ban it.
So you agree?
We should be doing what Trump is doing.
Ban these places.
Yeah, we should be banning immigration from those places. Well, we don't want people from those countries in this country at all. You know, I've been to the Middle East. A lot of these lefties haven't been to the Middle East. I've been to the Middle East. I know what it's like. I can only speak from my experience in Iraq, but the place is deeply fractured. Right. And you don't want anybody from Iraq coming to this country at all, because they all play both sides against the middle. Even we had an instance where we had interpreters from Iraq coming here and settling, but we knew they were playing both sides against the middle. These were people that were deeply involved with ISIS as well.
So
and
the people
they allowed them in. They allowed them in.
The people that were helping you in Iraq would.
Definitely. Yeah,
God.
we had several instances where we had intelligence on some individuals that they were playing both sides against the middle, and they got the boot, but they were allowed in the country. We heard later they were allowed in the country.
I'm really naive. I assumed that they were one side or the other strictly. Do you know what I mean? Like, then never even.
Oh no. My granddad once told me, because he served out during World War II, he was in Africa and all that kind of places, and he was in the Middle East, and he said, never turn your back on an Arab. Never turn your back on an Arab. That's what he said. He says, one day they'd be all for you, the next day they were playing the other side. It says never trust them. I know that's probably a generalization, but it's true. It's very true.
Organizations come from places, don't they? It may not be everybody,
Yeah.
but it tends to speak to a populace. I love your mic, Dan.
Well, ISIS, thank you. It's got a bit. The camera is a bit too high now. It's on the stand, but ISIS said it itself. You know, years ago, it said we're going to flood Europe with our fighters. The Taliban said we are going to flood Europe with our fighters. So Vin's been there firsthand. He's seen, you know, how these people can react very, very quickly. So they're not really for the country. And, you know, we have to understand, and people are going to be saying, well, no, the Muslim faith can be, Islamic faith can be different. But we've got to understand it's built upon taking over. It's built upon, you know, mass murder and conquer.
Yeah.
And that's how it went. Muhammad went for, you know, years and years and years in his own city, and he only managed to recruit his family. You know, he didn't have this mass recruitment until he spread out, and then they started conquering and started, you know, waging wars and this, and that's how it spreaded. So don't think that ideology now, because we're not in the you know, in the dark ages, don't think that mentality is gone, because it's not. They're just using different weapons, and they're using different styles. And the main weapon they're using now is these NGOs and these left-wing agitators. They'll kill them straight away if they had the chance to, if they were in Palestine or Iraq or these places. They don't deal with the LTQ, whatever, the mafia. They're not doing it. But because they're doing their bidding, they're going to allow it. So yeah, carry on. You push us so we can get where we need to be, and then we will cut everyone off and make sure that it's Islamic only. And that is the
think about what we've done in this country. We've taken the very worst from Muslim countries into our country. Even the Muslim countries themselves are saying, why are you allowing the Muslim Brotherhood to operate in your country? We don't allow them to operate because they're extremists. Why do you think Egypt doesn't allow refugees from Palestine to enter their country? It's because whenever they enter a country, they're just nothing but trouble and have to be kicked out by military force, because they tried to stage coups of the country that they're in. They tried to take them over. That's why they're kicked out. And we've taken these people into our country because we've got this blind tolerance to everybody, that we have to have this tolerance. We don't draw a line in tolerance. That's our trouble. Be tolerant, but drawing a line in it. When they start trying to take over your culture and your country and trying to supplement their own culture for yours, that's a warning sign. Yeah, you shouldn't have these people in your country.
Yeah, Dan,
100%.
You've looked into this side of the culture side of things for a long time. We've talked about it for a long time. Why do you think we're sat here 8 years later? And in fact, in my case, it feels like 20, 30 years later, still having the same conversations about why are we still being so politically correct? Why are we still having these conversations? Why haven't we moved on to the point where all this is dead now?
Because nobody has taken that chance. Nobody has taken the bull by its horns and said, this is how we're going to do it. We are a first world country that is, you know, we are marred by all of this red tape and all of this, you know, these laws and acts and all of this. So there's only really one place we can gain power, and that is in the parliament. And we don't have people that are ready to say, you know, we are nationalists. The activist leaders who are about from all over, none of them are saying, you know what, actually, let's all push in the same direction and let's all do this. Everyone wants to do their own thing. And that makes it, you know, it's what do I call it? Circular activism. You're just going round and round and round, and a new thing comes in and you say, I told you so. That was right. Here's how we do it. And then we go and protest. And then we got to keep going around. It makes people feel like they're doing something while doing nothing. And that's why that's why we need to draw that line in the sand and saying, this is what we are going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and actually push towards it. And if people who are not even against it, if people are trying to pull you in a different direction because they're more popular or more powerful, then we've got to cut them out and use the people power, because we've got 66 million, or got more than that now. It's close to 70 million people. So we should have at least 2 million people who are all thinking the same way, that should all get together and push the same thing. And you got a good chance of getting some type of pressure going on.
How much of the circular activism would you guys say is deliberate?
All of it is. Every single one. Nobody wants to change the world. I want to change the world, right? and I want to make stuff happen. Vin wants to make things happen. You want to make things happen. Yet we are here, right? And we get the numbers that we get, yeah? And we're all together here, right? There's people who don't want anything to do with changing the world, and they taking and stealing the ideas, the narratives, the ideologies of what true activists are doing, getting all the money, getting all the support, and telling people we're the winning side. Hang on a minute. What are you actually doing?
You can spot these. You can spot these people because they never offer up any solutions, any viable solutions to how we actually fix all of this. And it's true. You got to think though. A lot of these activists are running their channels as businesses now. That's fair enough, right? I think we all agree that because of the things we say, we have to be able to make money because we will be blacklisted. I'm blacklisted. I know I'm blacklisted now. I know Danny's blacklisted. There's some, when you get to a certain point and you're being noticed, you're not going to get a job anymore.
Absolutely.
And that's on me. That's on me. I take full responsibility for that. But like Danny's saying, there are people out there that are taking resources away from us, people that are actually trying to affect change. And, you know, they know what they're doing. They're actually,
me. Have you both been officially branded far right now?
Oh, I'm on WhatsApp groups and everything around my local area.
Yeah. You know what it is, Tom? We've always been there. You know, I'm a HGV driver by trade, and before my accident, you know, I had every single bit of Antifa, Hope Not Hate, Stand Up to Racism, Medway, all of these people going in every single driver agency with my picture, with all the links to my stuff saying this guy is a danger to immigrants. The HGV trade is built upon immigrants, Polish, Hungary, Lithuanian, Romanian. But they don't say what immigrants we're against. They're just saying he's a danger. So when I walk into an agency and they can see me, they're saying, sorry, Dan, we've got no work. And that's what they do. And that, like Vin says, this is the thing that we take on board. Yeah. We do other things to get the message across, but people can't support everyone, right? So they choose the people who are more popular because they believe that is the people who are doing more work. But behind the scenes,
so tribalistic about it, though, Dan. They're very aggressive about it. Like you could.
That's how they've made that circular activism. They've made you choose the side. They said it's left or right. They said it's black versus white. They said it's Islam versus thingy. There's no bigger picture. The bigger picture is the globalists. That's it. Globalists versus patriots. They don't care who they're going to oppress. These people can oppress everyone. They'll oppress the Muslims as well, right? Because the globalists want to do what they want to do, and that's their plan. So whilst we're all fighting these little boxes, and we're all in these little boxes, and we're fighting against each other, nothing can actually happen. But the people with the big platforms, they're the ones that others think that are doing the good work. You know, you see people just do a few publicity stunts and this, that, and the other, and then that's it. Oh no, they're the ones to follow. They're the ones. It's not. You've got to be more consistent with that.
Do you guys think people are aware, and do you think they care that? And I imagine some of them would care, but do you think people are aware that these big people you're talking about, a lot of them are, and they're all across the internet, by the way, but a lot of them are what we call content harvesting. So they come to little channels, they take the best ideas, they've got the money to put it into it, and they content harvest and they do that, and then they sort of leave it like a bit of a burnt out wood. There's nothing left on the creator they've taken it from. But do you think people realize that they're doing that? Or do you think that they're seeing it all as original work? Because one thing many of us said is they don't have an idea between them. Sorry, go on.
100% they're doing it on purpose because some of them don't have any original ideas, and they've got tired arguments.
None.
I mean,
Zero.
You know the podcasts that are out there. The podcasts go on there with their nice little suits on, and they're all sitting around a nice little desk, and they never offer any solutions. They just talk about everything. You know what they should be doing? They should be promoting the little channels. They should be promoting the protests and saying, "Look at these protests that are taking place. Go and have a look at them. Go and have a look at them. Go support them."
We've always supported each other. Other people have always supported each other, but these people don't unless they've got, for instance, like a hand in the back pocket where they're allowed to use that person's stream. Then it's all business. Nobody ever does anything for the sake of getting the message out. The message is secondary to getting your stuff in or to getting your channel recognized. So people don't work together for the sake of getting a message out anymore. It's, well, if I let you use that, what are you going to let me? It's all like that now, you know.
Yeah, but look at what happened between you two. Vin lives in Chesterfield. You live down south, right? He's come down from his place down to your place to support what you're doing and to try and get his people to understand what your people are doing. Yeah, that's what you are doing. Everyone else, where are they? It wasn't. It had nothing to do with them. They had no. They had nothing to take out of it. So they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to know about it. And that's the thing. You can always see the people who want to help the people because we do go out of our way to do it. But again, there's a reason I believe why we've got small channels. Yeah. And that isn't because of the lack of content or the lack of what we do. Vin does it every morning. Yeah. I wake up, I put my phone on, I'm waiting for his morning rants, right? Or even not even a rant, just morning conversations.
Yeah.
And when he's not on there, he'll say, listen, I've got a big one coming. I'm going to be editing. It'll be coming in the afternoon. Right. No one else does that on a daily, every single day that you're used to. Right. So it's not about lack of content or lack of getting out there. But the bigger people don't want other people who really want to try to have an impact in solving the problems. They don't want that. So obviously you get blacklisted, you get shadowed and all of that stuff to keep you on that level, to keep you down, because it's not about that. It's not about change. It's just about trying to make you believe that.
And Vin's a real danger because not only will he point out the problems, but he does offer solutions. And people don't like you. You see some people, don't you, Vin, that come up and challenge you because they don't like the solutions.
I'll make an analogy, right? I'll make a comparison. The bigger channels are like the pharmaceutical company. They don't want to cure the problem. They just want to offer solutions to the symptoms. That's it. So they can keep it going. So they're making the money. And, like I said, they're suppressing the little channels. I won't say they're deliberately suppressing, they're just taking resources away from us so we can't grow. I mean, we need to go places. For our activism, we need to be able to travel around the country and cover these things because we are the news. We are the new news media. That's what we are now.
And there's sorry, go on.
Go on, mate. Yeah.
I'm just going to say there is. I don't want to make it like I feel sorry for our session. It's not like that. We're doing what we're doing anyway, and we're enjoying what we're doing anyway. But just so people understand, there is a 2-tier system. So if I do something wrong, everybody will rightly hold me to account, and that's fine. That's totally cool. I'm okay with that. It keeps me honest. Where certain channels of a certain size, if they're over a certain size, they won't be held to account because nobody wants to be unpopular to that channel. So there is a 2-tier system that happens with that. And when we talk about money being taken away, it's never jealousy of someone getting money. Like, this is capitalism. If you can get money coming in to pay for your podcast, that's what you should do rather than have it coming out your pocket and making yourself poor. Plus, you can get better equipment. You can go more places. Nothing wrong with that. But what you tend to get is a bit of, it's almost like a kind of nepotism where somebody may have done something 10 years ago or said they've done something, and they're still racking in the money now just for sitting on their ass and never, ever doing anything. And never, look what you say, been never offering solutions, never really doing anything, just turning up.
But there's two people. You've got to be honest about it. There's two people. There's podcasters and there's activists. So you got to treat them equally the same. Yeah, you got to treat them the same way. But the podcasters think that they're activists. Do you know what I mean? And like me, I'm an activist who thinks I'm a podcaster. Do you know what I mean? So I've got to take my own advice. I'm not one of these natural people that will go out and do the podcast, but I can get out on the street and I can get it done. Right. So this is what you got to understand. There's two different things. People are saying, "Oh, he's doing good work, sitting in the studio doing nothing, never been out on the street, right? Or very rarely being out on the front line." And then the person out on the front line who's giving them the content is not getting paid. So you've got to work it out you've got to have your activist paid and your podcaster done. You can't mix them together too much. But that's what people do. People are saying, well, I'm an activist because I'm speaking out against the government from the studio. That doesn't work with me. And people can't get that in their minds.
And because they're trying to act like Good Morning Britain and then they're just not that famous.
Exactly.
Something me and well, just not me and Vin were talking about, with the podcast and that. It's like some people just shouldn't be in front of a camera, and that's no disrespect to anybody. It's about being able to self-assess with a lot of awareness. But what I was saying was some people can get away with it. But even if, let's say, I could do a good job sat behind the computer, going out on that street and doing that stuff gives me the on the street knowledge to come back and to talk about other events or whatever else with. Although notice, like say with me, like what you're saying, Dan, I'll never sit there through a two-hour event that say Vin does and commentate on it. I'm not there. But at least if I do a video about something that he's done, I've at least got the street awareness to do it. What you got is people that haven't been on the street in years or at all. And
it's danger as well.
I'll give you a little bit of an example of a disconnect between the so-called podcasters and the people on the street. So I'm not going to mention the names because I don't cause any controversy or anything like that. But they were saying in one of their podcasts that Antifa wasn't a threat in this country. And it's like, what? You know, I've seen from every protest I've gone to, I've started to see them forming leadership, getting more and more organized. They have radios. They're well funded. Yeah. And for anybody to say in this country that Antifa aren't a real threat, doesn't know what they're talking about. They are a threat. They are the number one threat to us guys on the street because they're the ones that we face when we go to these protests. These are going to be the violent ones that try to attack us. We saw it in Sheffield. We've seen it in Nottingham. I've seen it in protests that you guys have been to where they just turn up and they cause trouble. So to say they're not a threat, they haven't got a clue. And this is all down to these podcasters not going down to street level and doing the protests that we do and realizing what they're saying is total rubbish. And they're giving false information out.
That's the thing. If they were to go and do that, I wouldn't have a problem with a lot of them. And it's I want to get because I don't want people just to think we're just like podcasts off. But I just want to leave it with this and that's when someone tells you they're not going to do something. If you reward them for it, like so, if I say, "Oh, I'm not going to go to that demo next week that I promised you I was going to go to because I can't be bothered." If you give me 11,000 likes on that post, and you're just encouraging me to do it more.
Yeah, exactly. But it's that danger as well. It's not about slagging anything off and things like that. You know what I mean? If it's coming across that way, then, you know, it's not there. But, you know, after these cameras go down, right, we live 24 hours in our lives, right?
Yeah.
And we still got to walk out onto the same streets as we've been out there, knowing that there's the Antifas, there's a stand up to racism, there's all of that whilst we're walking with our families. There's multiple things I don't do with my I don't go out at the same time. If we're going somewhere, there's lots of things that I don't do just to protect myself. And that's because I'm an activist, right? So this is also what people have got to understand. And I'll keep doing it because I've always done it, right? And it's not even about that. But I see a lot of people who are out on the street who are undervalued by the wider people when their content is wildly much better, and the danger they are facing is so much more, especially now. You know, it's not just Antifa, it's the Muslims, it's the Marxists, it's the communists. Any person with that ideology can, in fact, do something heinous. Wayne Broadhurst, a binman, doing nothing, murdered, right? So there, I'm here to bring the tone right down. And to
no, but it's true. That's just going to top myself now. But no, but it's true though. Those are the points that we need to be coming to. The reason I mentioned about. The reason I said what I said, and by the way, I have noticed you're in chat. Good to see you all, guys. Thanks for coming back. The reason I bring up, say, the slagging people off and that is because, unfortunately, because of some things I said a while ago, when I talk about YouTubers, people tend to think I have the same couple of people in mind, and it's not always. There's a lot of different people out there that are doing a lot of different things. But also, it's really interesting because, like, it's something you know, I believe in there's a woke right. There's a two versions of the woke right now. And I noticed, like, with me, you and Vin. So we've been called divisive in the past. And then the moment that you and Vin had a slight difference in opinion, you were fine about it. Vin was fine about it.
Yeah.
But the people in between that were trying to create something out of nothing there, it was unbelievable. And I saw both you on your channel, Dan, saying, I don't have a problem. I'm just staying true. And Vin saying, Danny's fine. Danny's doing exactly what we want, and that's debating.
But listen, I can disagree with many people. In fact, I'm in disagreement with more people than I'm probably in agreement with, right? But it doesn't mean that I have to go to war with them just because they have a different opinion, you know. And on certain things, even with you, Tom, you know, I've got a different opinion, you know. And that's it. That's the art of debate. It's not about cancelling. It's about talking and saying, okay, then cool. You show me, you put your plans forward, and then I can always say, oh, actually, I didn't look at it from that point of view because I'm looking at it in this point of view.
Exactly.
And then that's how you win hearts and minds over. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Go on, Vim, was you gonna...
we got the national strike stuff. People are asking me for like solutions to it, and I put it forward. Look, I'm just putting it forward. You know, I can see issues with it as well. I can see. I've said this before. The people that keep coming forward and saying don't pay tax, don't pay council tax and stuff like that, you've got to have everybody in the country behind it for that to work. It will not work unless everybody's behind that, because they will come for you individually and you'll end up in jail. I think it's
single people out.
I will say it's a bit what word am I looking for? A bit, I don't know. Lost my train of thought now.
Overreach?
Well, yeah,
or redundant?
But yeah, with the national strike thing, I put it forward as a solution because people say, well, what solutions have you got? So, like, well, get behind the national strike. And then they're saying it won't work. So get behind it, then it will work. But like Danny was saying, it's like you will never get these people on board. We've still got way too many people asleep in this country. Even with everything that's going on at the minute, they don't know that we're heading very, very close to digital ID. We're having the right to trial taken away from us by a jury. That's been taken away from us. And there are people still oblivious to that. They've got no clue that that's going on in this country. So I don't know how a national strike is going to work. You know, over the last few weeks, sort of thing, I've started to like move away from that. It's like, nah, it's not going to work.
It was disappointing. I was looking, and Dan, I'm going to ask you a question in a minute. But if I'm asking this out of ignorance, if this is something not good for online, just say pass, right? But I was looking, and I saw national strike 2021, 2022, 2023. And so I didn't realize this has been tried over and over. So it'd been flogged to death. But then I saw it was retrending again the other day. And I was like, oh, it's grown a new lease of life. So you come on a live stream and you went, no, maybe it's what's behind it that's the problem. And I wanted to ask, didn't know whether to, don't know if it's something I should ask you online or offline.
Do you know what? Do you know what? It's no disagreement. But my position on the national strike is not because I've got a disagreement with somebody who's involved with it, right? So I'm going to put that out there first. It's not about. It's not about the. I'm not petty enough to say, listen, I've got a disagreement with you.
No, but I didn't know if
but
there was something that say someone had done that had given them no.
But if I felt it would generally work, if I felt, you know what, let's break this economy, right? I'll be going to every truck driver saying, do you know what, you stop your truck. I don't care what business you're with. If we all do it, I would be promoting it in my little section, right? But the problem with it is we've got cheap labor from overseas. We've got digital things like Vin was saying. We've got digital stuff that's controlling the business. So when we're all out on the streets, we've got 5 million people out in the streets. It doesn't matter. They're going to replace it. They're going to either replace it digitally, and they're going to override it with cheap labor, and they're just going to do what they can to, you know, tarnish and demonize the people. That's my position of why I don't think it will work. If somebody can say, listen, we can get Anonymous to hack the system, so there will be no internet for 3 days. Boom, I'm on it. Right, I'm getting interested now. If we can guarantee that there's not going to be no foreign labor and British people will be out of work, because that's all they'll do. They'll sack these people and they'll put you out of work. They don't care.
This is one of the things that they dropped the ball on, Dan. Is it was like they said no shopping, no work, no education, something like that. And I was like, what about no internet, no phones, no? All of that would have been a much bigger hit.
Exactly, but this is why I think that we need to get into them places, so then we can then force it. And I don't know if that will be on the sides of, you know, a little bit too much, but if we can get into places and say, well, you know, I will turn that switch off to have no internet.
What is a little bit too much when we're entering when we're, some people believe we're entering towards civil war. If a little bit too much stops civil war, then a little bit too much was worth it, wasn't it?
But we can't stop a civil war that will never start, because the civil war will never start because my stuff's gone off. A civil war will never start because they've got all the acts and stuff to stop it. They're going to say there's no jury. who is going to be on the streets, right, knowing that there's no jury doing something wrong, right? That's the best way to stop crime, right? Because you know that if you're on the wrong side of it, you're going straight to prison. That's it, like they did in summer. They say with all the ANPR cameras, they're putting out all the facial recognition cameras. So who's really going to go out on the street, who's a normal everyday citizen, right, to to fight hard for the country, knowing that there's going to be facial recognition cameras? No one's going to do it. They're oppressing us in a digital cage, right? So we cannot do anything. And this is the problem we've got to face. How do we do something while circumnavigating what they're putting in place to stop us from doing anything?
I'll have to say, right, the only thing that would ever most likely kick a civil war off in this country, and me and Tom were talking about this, is that the Patriots won't start a civil war. They won't start a civil war at all. But there will be a reaction to somebody else starting a civil war. Say that Islamists, they get to a certain amount and they think, right, that's it, it's time to kick off. They try to do a military coup of their own, because it's not on any stretch of the imagination they could do this. I mean, I've had reports of them bringing in weapons and guns on dinghies, and who knows where they're going, because they could be weapons caches and stuff like that. There was a couple done down in, I don't know where it was, that they were illegally taking on rubbish and stuff like that. They had an illegal dump or something like that. Their son is now in prison for 20 years for smuggling in automatic weapons. Now people say we don't have weapons like that. We do, and people just are oblivious to it.
Of course, you can come into Tilbury docks. Is not a really heavily manned docks, and that's where most of the stuff comes in anyway, through these ones. And there's I think one up north as well. And that's what it is. So there can be and there is a lot of weapons in the country, but with all the people who are, again, second and third generation, who might just say a sleeper cell, right? They're going to be doing it for years and years and years, getting into their position. So who's to say there's not people in the army who are at that high level, who are who are part of the arms people, and they know that if you come to here, they can open the gates up, and whatever happens. These people got into was it Braze Norton, the Palestinian action. So it's possible that people can get you onto these places. I know it's not a real live military bit, but it's the principle of it. If you've got enough people in enough positions, then they can get the weapons and all the stuff that are already here out. And like Vin said, it's not going to be us doing it. So we're going to be in the worst situation anyway, because they're the ones with all the organization. They're the ones with all the planning and procedure, and we're the ones that have to react to it.
See, when me and Vin have been talking to people online, it seems like there's a lot of people that want it, but not many people that are prepared to fight it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that puts us in a state where it may not be so quick to say civil war, but I could see a lot more civil unrest, because it seems like there's people prepared to fight.
Right, they come to my channel all the time, and they're saying, you're not going far enough in your videos. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. So I say to them, I said, well, why aren't you starting a civil war then? If you want it, why aren't you out there starting it? Why are you waiting for somebody else to do it for you? And they won't answer, because they know they don't want to. It's keyboard warriors.
It's very simple. Yeah, we all saw what happened in Whitechapel. We all saw the hundreds of people dressed in their black uniform. And when people say, "Oh, they're only dressed in black," they're dressed in black because obviously the black flag of jihad, right? So we know what they are, right? We could have gone back the week after. The people who want the civil unrest, the people who want it, they could have all banded together and said, we're going to go to Whitechapel the next Saturday, right? We're going to do this the next week. But what's happened? Nothing's happened. But they yap to try to get people angry enough. So when somebody says something that's hardline but not really willing to go that way, people then feed into them. Everything is a fishing expedition. If you want to do something, sometimes you're going to do it.
It could be left wingers in the chat trying to get you to say something so they can take action on you as well. So you respond to it, say, we need to do this. We need to do this. Yeah.
Exactly that. The only way, to be honest, that I can see that we're gonna save this is coming together and having a force of the people because we have to learn of our history. And I know it's a whole different situation, but I do generally believe if enough people come together under the right banner, that the government would fold straight away. It would cave into all the demands that you're asking for. Because we're not asking for much. We're just asking for our freedom and our inalienable rights, and for our children to be safe. I don't think that's a lot.
I was watching. Have you heard of a podcaster called Dino Bain? Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
What's it
Dino
called
Bain.
again?
Right, Dino
Dino
Bain.
Bain.
So he made it. He made a video today saying that the British people, the English people, we could take the brunt of any sanctions that Donald Trump decided to put on this country to get these people out of power. And he's right. That our last best hope, I believe, is America sanctioning these people in power right now in this country to a point where they just can't function anymore. That would be a massive help to this country. Massive tariffs.
Yeah.
But the only problem is of him doing that, we'll take the brunt of it, and we'll be, we say it's going to be a new government, and the new government they'll put in there, 100% will be reform. And I don't believe that reform is going to be the one that's going to take us down this new avenue. So we can get people like Trump to do stuff for us to help us out and blah blah blah, but it's who the people vote for. And it's that mentality that we really have to tap into. And I don't know how to do it, to be fair, how to get the people to understand that even the people who are being offered up to you is not the ones to do it. And I've always said, I'm a UKIP person. I support UKIP, and I know a lot of people don't, and a lot of people do. And I always said maybe the best action is to get 650 independent MPs. People from the area who know the area, who then can in Parliament create these pressure blocks, and then run the government that way. Maybe that's the way of doing it.
Well, that's how it used to be. It didn't used to be parties. It wasn't party political parliament at one time. It was just independent people from their local area coming to represent the people that put them there. That's how it should be. I mean, this whole hive mind of parties is what's caused us trouble in the first place. We've got this tribalistic thing where people don't vote for policies anymore. They vote because, my granddad voted for him, so I've got to vote for him. Kind of mentality, which is ridiculous. This is why we're in this mess, because we didn't vote the people out who don't deserve to be there.
Exactly.
Sorry, I just want to address something. Captain, the guy that was on yesterday, you seem like a nice guy yesterday. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about on here, and I'm picking bits out, so I'm not going to rip you to pieces because I don't know what's going on. What I will say to you is the guy that came on yesterday that was offering the equipment and that was a lovely fucking guy, and calling out big podcasters has got nothing to do with him. If you want to deliberately take that and put that on him, that's on you. That's on you. Yeah. But when I'm talking about big podcasts, and the reason I don't name them is because they go into the fucking hundreds. It's not just, and I didn't actually say big podcasts, I said big people, because we're talking about mainstream media coming through the back, which we're now seeing. Yeah. We're actually seeing people going from mainstream media, from LBC, places like that, through the back of our movement. The right has been successfully privatized. Right-wing activism has been successfully privatized. Want the proof? Go and look to see who isn't working for someone, right? So don't give me the shit about people going down, driving the road and then looking at their chat. How can you take them seriously? We look at our chat to get feedback. So what is your problem? The fact that I'm talking about big podcasters and the guy that came on yesterday was a big podcast, I don't get it. Like the guy that came on yesterday was a lovely guy. Not all big podcasters are bad. People that try and create something out of nothing, however, like you seem to be doing, get on my tits. Because you were fine yesterday. What's the problem? Explain it. Explain your fucking self. Guys, sorry about that. Guys, I wanted to ask you another question. Do you think Starmer and his government, in their own limited way, have pulled off a coup of their own? Because they made up a 16 to 22 billion deficit. And they knew well beforehand that it wasn't real because they hadn't even included revenue coming in. And then by the time it got to the time they were talking about raising tax, they knew at that point it wasn't even there. And so they got everyone to use the idea, and also as well, they were talking about as though 22 billion was the end of the country when we spend trillions on stuff, right? So they also stripped money away from benefits from people who genuinely needed them. Did they pull off a big coup by making the country think, oh, we're 22 million down? And then they go, oh, no, we're not. People get angry over that. But at the same time, they've just missed the fact that they've just spent the same 22 billion, exactly the same 22 billion on raising the child cap for a certain demographic.
The thing is, Tom, right, is that they're just liars. They're just pathological liars. You can't trust a thing that they say. I mean, look, if we've got a massive debt, right, let's base this right. If you're in debt at home, you don't go out and start spending loads of money on things you don't need, do you? You don't give money away to people. That you look after yourself first. You look after your own finances first. And they've been giving away billions to other countries that don't need it. Pakistan, India, other places. Look at what they've done to farmers. They've given massive amounts of aid to foreign farmers when our own farmers are struggling. To me, this is just to cause division. This is to sow division amongst the people yet again. It's to get people angry. To get people angry for whatever reason. That's for the audience to decide and stuff like that. I've got my own theories on that. It might be because they want civil unrest, so they can bring in more tougher restrictions on society. That could be the reason why they're doing it. They want civil unrest, so they've got an excuse to bring in digital ID. They've got an excuse to bring in all the surveillance that they're bringing in on people. Maybe that's their end game.
You mentioned this morning about putting elections back. Is there something else I haven't heard of? They put actual local elections back now.
No, it's the mayoral elections. They want to try and ban the mayoral elections, but they do want to try and ban the local elections as well. I know around here, there's a few local elections that are going on for the councils because we're out of sync with everyone else. Huh?
Are they a year late already, or am I wrong on that?
No, the Medway, they have different. There's a different jurisdiction. Medway, Gravesham, and all that. They're a different band of local governments. They're part of Kent, but probably something historical that they're not, and their elections is always after. So I don't think they did postpone a whole heap of them, but I'm not sure if it's to this year or whatnot. But you know, like Vin said, I think it's just to get people angry and to be able to put people in prison quickly. You know, if you are speaking out, to get people angry so they can bring the stuff in, because we've got to think about this, right? You had Insulating Britain. Do you remember them? They run the headlines for so many months, right? And then they disappeared, right? But they got a law imposed on protests. And then we've got Just Stop Oil, who did the same thing. I know a lot of them have gone to prison, and a lot of them are on hunger strike and all these climate activists and whatnot, right? But I don't generally believe that the laws that were put into place were for them. And then we had the another protest bill, let's just say, that Suella Braverman did to stop Just Stop Oil. But these are not going to stop Just Stop Oil because it stops us. One man, one protest. We've seen young Bob, one man, one protest, get arrested, and now he's liable for 51 weeks in prison. Right?
Really?
This is because the law is on the new protest bill, even one person in a protest, one man, one protest, can get 51 weeks in prison. You can't get a full year, but you can get up to 51 weeks in prison. Right?
Look at AY audits, right? I'll bring this one up, AY audits, because he was at Chesterfield protest on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? He showed them, and I was there, he showed them his international press pass. Now, under Section 17 of the Public Order Act, they can't stop journalists from going about their business and reporting on a protest because they're not designated as protest. They're just there to film both sides of the protest. And they refused him. And so we said to him, right, okay then, which piece of legislation in law allows you to decide who's a journalist and who isn't a journalist? Because we'd like to know. We'd like to know that. And if you can't provide that information, then we're going to go about our lawful business and we will move past you. And they wouldn't allow it. They formed 3 lines in front of us. They formed 3 lines of police in front of us and wouldn't allow us to pass. Yeah. This is because the police are comfortable now. They're comfortable in knowing that the government has got their backs, and no matter what they do, and no matter how, they can just make it up as they go along now. And they know they won't get repercussions for it.
I've had multiple press passes, and they wouldn't recognise them. They will only recognise the Associated Press.
Yeah, they only recognise the Marxist one, the ones where you've got to be in the unions and that. Yeah. But
I will just add this, right? Steve brought this up the other day. My moderator's in the chat now, right? He brought this up apparently Stand Up to Racism actually back the National Union of Journalists. So they're contributors to them.
Yeah.
So there's a big conflict of interest there.
Of course, this is what they do. You know, they get themselves, you know, tightly embedded into all these things, and then dictate the laws. It's with anything. The most money does win the argument, I guess, or the case. But I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Anyway,
sorry, mate.
Where's Captain Big Shot with your £25,000 PC? Then you gone fucking quiet, and you big man.
Tom.
It was all tough and big a minute ago. Even Steve said he's getting on my tips and I'm an A cup, Tom.
But that's what Vin was saying earlier, Tom. You know, that's what Vin was saying earlier. These people will come in here and destabilize what's going on to destabilize true progress and to stop a conversation, you know, from going on. So I wouldn't worry too much about people who are coming in. We control them later. Do you know what I mean? We can find them in their little groups and that, and then we control them later. But yeah, he's just here to destabilize.
Yes, I think yesterday. Like when he came in, we were talking about some technical stuff, and this other guy he was talking about was a really lovely guy, and he was actually really genuine. This guy, I thought it was all right, but I kind of felt like he was trying to sort of argue me about OBS, which is not really the hill I was prepared to die on. I did say that to him, honestly. I was like, it's not really the hill I want to die on.
Don't forget, Tom, right? Don't forget, Tom, we've got our stalker that likes to take on other people's personalities.
Very true.
Appear in the chat.
Very true, actually. I meant to remember that before I came on today. So that's a good point. So do you mind, you guys, I won't play all of it to YouTube, but do you guys mind if I play you a video that I pre-made, but it's just to save time on trying to remember the actual details. I just want to see.
No problem,
yeah, go for it, man.
As quick as I can. And by the way, again, just to have the people in the chat today, I really do appreciate you coming in. It doesn't need to be a load of people. The fact that we've even got this many means loads to me. Thank you so much. And again, I know I have my little moan at someone, but it is one particular person because they know what they're doing. The rest of you will never speak to you like that. Right, so let me bring this up now for these guys. Share screen. And bear with me, guys. Yep, I understand. We want to pick this one. There we go. Right, so go. And go again.
There's some stories that are just too mental to pass up. So, just as context, foundation, what do they call it? A base or a control test. Let's look at Dave Rudikabana quickly. The British-born, completely Rwandan British-born guy. Rwandan parents who did have links to the Rwandan genocide. Who... if you look at the statistics around not only Muslim communities, but around any of these types of communities, whenever they know whether it's family member, friend, or just somebody in the community, the YouGov polls show overwhelmingly that they have shown in their polls that if they know that someone's going to commit a terrorist act, or if they suspect that someone is, they won't tell the authorities. Multiple reasons we could break down into that, but that's for another time. So, and just as an example of this, Rudy Cabana's dad found the supposed Al-Qaeda manual and the ricin in his room 2 days before he did the attack. I don't believe that he contacted the authorities about finding ricin, and a terrorist manual. And I don't believe he faces any charges for that whatsoever, which when you talk about chemicals that can be made to use chemical weapons, then you're aiding and abetting some way there. So that you're stepping into criminal territory there just by not reporting it. So just bear in mind what people don't go to prison for, what people don't get arrested for, what we've seen people walk away from in this country. Just as a reminder, I know you probably don't need much reminding, but you've seen people put away for tweets and everything else. But you've seen the other side put away for virtually nothing. So, with the groundwork done, you may be unsurprised to know that a guy called Norbert Giosik, but I believe in the UK, has been jailed over his music collection, which included extreme right-wing recordings. He was found right with more than 2,000 records, of which he was buying and selling across the UK and Europe. Very unusual way to buy and sell records. He was arrested in May last year for buying and distributing albums whose lyrics, artistic expression, whose lyrics breached terrorism legislation and were intended to incite racial hatred. Where was Andrew Chowdhury's call out when that happened? In fact, the hate preachers that are standing in every city every day trying to convert people via hate. The hate people that are taking this out on children, the grooming gangs, everything. None of that wants to be spoken. They don't want to jail any of them. They don't even want to talk about it in Parliament. But this man, I'm not condoning far right stuff, by the way, but whatever music someone chooses to have, if someone wants to have a house full of Hitler paraphernalia, that's up to them. As long as they don't try to force it on the wider public. So he was arrested in May last year for buying and distributing albums whose lyrics breached terrorism legislation. Did you know that you could buy a record that breached terrorism regulation? I bet he didn't either. And they were intended to incite racial hatred. Well, shouldn't that be just about every single song, hip-hop and otherwise, that's got nigger in it, that just says it in multiple different ways, and songs about going and doing hits on people? Anyway, oh, and by the way, just for the record, oh, that was awful. They found 2,000 records, but just bear in mind, the wording it uses were they found extreme right-wing recordings among them, which means it's not the full 2,000 records either. Not that that should matter, but just to show that they're also exaggerating. So the drill music, the kneecap music, all the other rap that is literally inciting hatred and violence, literally glorifies violence, doesn't count. But this 48-year-old man of Kestrel Road in Hereford, he pleaded guilty on one count of distributing recordings. I told you, didn't I, ages ago, about the pirate sites and every other type of free speech, that they ended up beating us by turning everything into a terrorism law.
Right, I'm going to stop the screen. Ooh, it's still,
right.
It's still going. I'll stop the screen.
The one thing I'm going to bring up. The one thing I'm going to bring up is the one that.
Just to it, because I cut it off because I'm still talking. Oh, hang on one sec. Shut it up. Right. Yeah, one thing I just wanted to add to it was he got sentenced 40 months per crime, and there were 4 crimes in total. So it's 120 months prison he's got for this.
Right. The issue I've got is the distribution part of it, because that's what they've done him for. If this was a private collection, his own house, fair enough, go for it. But it's the other. But obviously, the amount of time he's got is just absolutely
so what they've
insane.
said was distribution, and I agree with you. Distribution, I said copyright. They've got him there, but the other 3 were possession. Yeah.
The thing is, though, right? Are you going to do this, right? Because lots of people have got Mein Kampf in the house, not because they agree with it, but because they research it. Because in order to have a debate against somebody, you have to know what they've written. I mean, I've read Mein Kampf. It's written by an absolute total lunatic. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a book, isn't it?
Pretty much like the Quran. Pretty much like the Quran, really. The Quran's a load of nonsense and contradicts itself all over the place. And Mein Kampf is no different. It's the ravings of a madman.
Yeah.
But you can't, if you ban things like that, Yeah, it's free speech infringement, isn't it? Because not everybody's going to agree with the message.
Free speech, free expression, all of it goes in one go. All of it goes in one go there. And you guys know some of the other music that's out there and the lyrics that's in it and the stuff that it promotes. I mean, they promote rape and everything. So
what about all this, like you were saying, the rap music that calls for the killing of police officers?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that?
So
look at what about the rapper that was on stage shouting "death, death to the IDF"? What about him?
Exactly.
That's all a class as artistic leniency or something like that. Is if you're an artist, you can do most things that you can do. But if I want to have, listen, if I'm going to have Hitler stuff, if I'm going to have the most extreme stuff in my house and I want to watch it and I want to do it, yeah, then that's entirely up to me because this is my private house. This is my castle. I can do what I like in it, right? Even if, and this is the thing, right? There was that thing during the lockdowns where they said at Christmas you got if you see your mother or your father talking about the wrong things, and you can report it, and then Prevent will get involved and all of this stuff, right? It's just overreach into our bit. If he's distributing, it, right? The best thing to do with it is to get the people in and have the conversation. What is getting you to this bit? Get a true Prevent, get people in there who are really, trying to de-radicalize the people. But like Vin said, you got things like Mein Kampf, you got things like the Quran, you got things even like the Communist Manifesto, right? Karl Marx wasn't this person that they were talking about. He was very, very racist, very anti-Semitic, even though he was a Jew. And if there was terrorist stuff then, he would have used it. Right, so we can't stop what people do, and we can't give them 40 months, because all that's going to make me want to do is to say, okay, then cool, let's see how extreme it is. Then all the stuff that he had, I'll go and hunt for the stuff, and I'll see exactly.
It's a Streisand effect, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a Streisand effect. It's going to make people go and have a look. Why? What was he looking at?
It's got
you're drawing attention to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing of it is, some of it's probably not going to be that bad, but it's like, I'm sorry, but who is going to be? How dumb do they think most people are to think that they're going to be radicalized by listening to a few records?
Exactly. Some people are impressionable, right?
Yeah.
So they could go and say, oh yeah, actually, like with the drill music, right? But there's the guy called the Drill Master MC or something like that. Yeah. He took actual passages from MPs and he put that into a drill song, right? And it was when, you remember when Jess Phillips said, I'm not going to stab you in the back, I'll stab you in the front, or something like that. And he was putting all these little quotes into a rap song, and everyone was like, this is the most violent song we've ever heard. And he said, well, this is what the MPs are saying in the Houses of Parliament. And he tore them all down bit by bit, right? I think it was a Drill Master, or I'll send it to you, right? But so you can get impressionable in that type of way, but for the fact of trying to criminalize it is to me, it's an overreach. It's a little bit too much.
Yeah, me too. Just to let you know, guys, I've put a link into chat there. If anybody wants to come and join us, if anybody wants to join us, they're welcome to.
sorry, I just got excited and I had something, right? But also, right, and this is, I'm going to say something. It's my opinion, okay? And obviously, I'm black and I can't be like any type of far right or anything, right? But have you seen all of these Hitler in 1930s, the transcript? They AI'd it and they said, this is what he sounds like and this is what it was, right?
I have,
Obviously, clearly he murdered loads of Jews and he was a fucking maniac when he was on all of them drugs, right? But at the beginning, right, something turned him to that way, yeah? So let's not worry about that. But at the beginning, right, what he was saying, if people had listened to him then, and he wasn't saying anything about the Jews, he was saying about every single person. We just want a Germany first, like what we're saying, right? We want to put our people first. He was literally saying that in the first little quarter of his life, right? And it's important. That's important to see how people do actually get radicalized, all the way from saying something that we wouldn't say is really bad, all the way up to all the heinous crimes that he did. Do you know what I mean? So that person that's got all these memorabilia and things like that, maybe he is in depth into it and he's saying, well, actually, I agreed with him in this period of his time, but I definitely disagree with him for the majority of his life in office. Do you see what I mean? There's so many nuances in it.
People wouldn't like me saying it, but Adolf Hitler and Winston Churchill have got some amazing things in common, in as much as they both tended to fail things. Both tended to fail things the first time, especially. They weren't successes in many of the things that they went after. The difference with Churchill was he was a success the second time round when he went to do things.
I'll tell you a really good. It's like a dramatized documentary. It's the rise and fall of Hitler. It's Robert Carlyle plays Hitler. It's amazing.
Oh, okay.
It was really good. It has a really good representation of his rise and fall to power. And it just shows how absolutely evil this guy was. And I know I'm getting what Danny's actually saying with that, but I think the reason he was so mild in the beginning because he was trying to sell what he was doing to the masses, and he slowly turned up the heat over time as more and more people came on board what he was doing with
I think
things.
as well, there's also they were both painters. There's also but there is so many parallels. So I've that Steve's actually, I can't remember now. Guys, save me. He's made me laugh too much now. They're both painters. That's all I can think about. This fucking idea of.
But this is the thing, yeah. Right. Also, let's demonize Hitler. Right. Let's say that he is a scumbag that he is, yeah. But let's also do Idi Amin. Let's also do Stalin. Let's also do all the people of the Soviet Union. Let's do all the people of communist Cambodia and Mao and all this, yeah. But they don't, because they allow the communist flag to go down them rallies every single week. Yeah, they allow socialist, Marxist, communist doctrine to be on GB News. Now that
I've mentioned this in videos. I've said, how come socialism, communism gets this free pass? Yeah, you know, Hitler killed 6 million people plus, but communism's killed 90 to 100 million people worldwide, and it's still happening today. It's still happening.
Exactly. It's just like the slave trade. They don't look at it. They say, okay, the European slave trade was very, very bad, yeah. But then when I look into it, for 1,000 years before the European slave trade, all the way through these African dynasties, right? That the African kings sold all of their people to the Arabs, right? This is going on 1,000 years before, and it's going on even today. So this is what people have to do. They have to get the context. Okay, this person's gone to prison for all this time for Hitler. Okay, cool. That's bad. That's the moral line there. Hitler is bad. Let's also see all the people who was bad with him, including the Grand Mufti of Palestine.
Yeah. Let's not forget that Stalin, you know, had concentration camps long before Hitler did. You know, had his gulags. So
I was going somewhere with no, it wasn't the concentration camps. But actually, no, it was it? Someone told me the British invented concentration camps. Is that true?
We did, but obviously for mass murder, it was like they took an idea and they improved upon it, sort of thing.
Oh, I wasn't sure. That's what it was that took my mind off whatever I was going to say, because I was like, I remember that, and these two will know. So
I mean, everybody's got a dark part of their history. Every civilization has, and this stupid notion that all civilizations are equal is insane. I mean, I put this to a lefty at the Sheffield protest. I said, all right, would you welcome a group of Papua New Guinea cannibals next door to you? Say we displanted them from their place and brought that culture next door to you. Is that equal to our society? They just go, their faces go blank because they can't deal with that.
They really can't,
and that's how you have to defend it. Yeah, that's how you street fight against them. You show them a direct opposite of what they're saying, and would they agree with it? And 9 times out of 10 they'll say no, but the payment check says let's not do anything, and still they don't get discouraged. I don't understand it. I really don't understand their mentality, to be fair.
The massive thing they've been doing recently, Dan, is going on the streets and saying, but you're wrong. But the people who come here don't get benefit. They get £40, and that's all they get. And this is a new thing that they're doing. And
this is the argument. This is the argument they make, though, Tom. Right? Because it is true they don't get universal credit, but they do get something equivalent to universal credit. They get. I mean, we don't get free hotels. When I got made homeless at the beginning of the year, I didn't get put into a free hotel. I had to pay for my bed and breakfast that the council provided for me. I had to pay for my own food for my family and stuff. I didn't get free 3 square meals a day. I didn't get a free phone or anything like that.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're way above what you would get in a benefit system. Way above.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
Don't forget, we brought this up, Tom.
Sorry,
we brought this up, Tom, that they have no overheads either. They've got zero overheads. So they're getting 40 quid a week with no overheads as well.
So when we were filming at the hotel, it's like they've got 40 quid in their pocket. They've got a mobile phone. They've got an adult course paid for to get them a job, whatever else. They had nothing to worry about whatsoever. And people are sticking up for them like they are being badly treated. And it's like, anybody, do you know what? Primates have got an inbuilt thing about unfairness. And you can show them the slightest bit of unfairness and they will fucking play up. We're just the same. Like, we're not naturally, I don't think, racist. We can be tribal, but we're not naturally racist. But when you start giving one and taking away from
Tom,
the other,
nothing we're doing is racist.
It's not racist.
Is racist. If you look at every other country around the world, they look after their own people first. The people where the countries where these people are coming from will put their people first.
Yeah, no, totally.
The countries where these people are coming from will put these people first over us. So there's nothing racist about it whatsoever. We're just saying what every other country in the world is doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like America, Trump and that gets called racist for saying Americans first. It's like, well, that's his job. That's his job.
And what's so controversial about that? There isn't.
Exactly.
There's nothing controversial about it.
It's nothing, and that's what it needs to be. But with Trump, with Trump, just look at now when you get off the stream, the Ilhan Omar stuff with Trump and Somalia, right? Because it's very, very interesting. And it's going to go on AOC as well. And the way that Trump deals with them is going to be very interesting with the rest of the world, because Ilhan Omar has said that she's Somalian first, right? She has said that she wishes to go back to Somalia. She can't wait to grow a family there. And now Trump's saying, effectively, I can deport you, right? I can send you back there because I don't want, these types of people here. And she's in Congress, and now she's trying to turn it around by saying, well, actually, no. And this is the point. If you are a first or second generation immigrant, and you're going about saying that you're a Muslim first, or you're a Pakistani first, or wherever country you want to do first, then you don't have allegiance to the country. And if Trump can do it, and he can do it without getting a lot of pushback, then the rest of us can do it.
Hey, hi, welcome in, Captain. How you doing?
I don't look so fake now, do I?
I don't know yet. I'm start speaking to you.
Well, you look at the slot. I told you.
So the reason I was give us a tour.
What, you want the tour? Do you?
Yeah, just because I want to see, like, genuinely speaking, if it was all real, I want to see it because it sounded cool. Oh, sorry. Please explain to me first. Is this you coming on to sulk, or are you coming on to talk?
No, let me just get this desk back down.
All right. I just wanted to check because some people do come on for some strange reasons. But let's have a look. So you do a podcast?
There's the card I was going to send you. Look.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the capture card. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I'm not fake.
All right, fair enough.
I was simply replying to some of you. So maybe there's a delay in the chat. Normally there is, but probably
there
what
is,
you've got set. Yeah, probably 10 seconds or something like that. But you was going on about why the general public don't get behind you and stuff like that, right? And that's what some of my comments was about. But obviously, your moderator took them out of context because you probably weren't listening to the show properly or something like that.
Well, tell you what, right?
But after asking a number of the amount of public, because I go out flying drones, photographing for other stuff, and I always get say, "Are you an auditor? Are you this? Are you that?" So then I ask them, "Where do you get your mainstream media from? Which way do you lean?" And stuff like that. And then I ask them other stuff. What do you think of independent media and stuff like that? So I ask the questions only in Nottinghamshire because that's where I live.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
So you stick to your area.
Yeah. So
makes sense.
So what I'm saying is, when I ask them questions, and you're wanting the answer to it, and I type it to you in chat, then you don't like it because it don't suit your agenda.
No, right. So first,
do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But first thing to understand is, so I did say to you at the time, I'm only catching part of this. Please come and explain to me. So while we've got you here, explain to me, what was it that you brought up that you were taking exception to, so we can talk about it like adults.
Well. First of all, when I ask the general public about that and stuff like that, and they'll say, yeah, I've seen some of the clips on YouTube and stuff like that. And I was on Paul Falk's show, and I said to him, I'm going to record it on my body cam and actually make a video out of it just so you can see what general public are saying. And there was like, they say about women and children and stuff like that, then they're flying down M1 with doing a live stream reading chat. How's that safety? Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, you
and
this mean like... Okay.
And this is when I said to you, I come back, when you first started this channel, I was like, which way are you leaning and which way are you doing it? Because if you're going to do it properly, then I'll help you. But if you're going to be out there being one of the dickheads that says...
You mean the agitators, right?
I'm independent media, then go straight over to the opposition and start shouting, you stupid lefties,
right.
like that.
Okay.
Do you understand what I mean?
Do you know what the whole thing is? It seems like Captain, he's come out and he's agreeing with what we're saying, but the way it is with the delay and everything else, it seems like it's an attack on what is being said, and then it's going in that wrong direction. But basically, you're saying if you are one of the true ones, the ones that we're talking about, the people that we're talking about, not the ones who are going down, who are screaming about women and children, and then going down the M1 with their live streams going, because obviously, you're not concentrating, you're screaming down it is dangerous. I think that's it. I think you've got a huge misunderstanding with a little bit of a delay.
And I've said this before on other live streams, and they just ban me because they don't like it. Because they don't like.
No, it's cool. Captain,
if you can't, go on.
Trying to establish something. Did you come on the other day? Not you. Obviously, you were on yesterday, but did you come on the other day and actually ask the question? Are you one of those people that basically go out and agitate? Was that you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I remember you. Do you know what? I'm really sorry. If I had put into place, it would have all clicked, mate. But the thing is with these, I don't know if the other guys have this. The thing is with these studios as well, I get about 1/3 of the chat come through because it only gives me the top chat come through. So I have to keep going on my phone to have a look at it properly. So I'm with you now. So what you're talking about is the agitators and the people that go out and do it unprofessionally and the people that go out and put people in danger. That's what you're talking about.
Well, it's not even so much
funnily enough, right? Funnily enough, we've been having a conversation about this just lately in private, haven't we, Tom? About certain individuals. I know they are because I've been to the protests. I know they are.
I've watched.
I know what the game is. Yeah, I know what the game is, and it's not about activism. It's about clicks and the money.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You can tell. You can tell straight away from them. Exactly. Yeah, I get your point. Yeah. I hope you don't think I'm like that. I'm not like that at all. So.
I don't believe you are like that. That's
totally accepted.
On other things, I don't agree with you on, but that don't mean I'm against you.
No, no.
When not you, but when people were saying, "Oh, carry a can of WD-40 in your bag," you realise that's going equipped.
Everyone's saying that.
You had a good one to say about that. I love that conversation
in my life.
There was some crazy stuff coming out, wasn't there?
There was mad shit coming out, man.
And people were giving. With big platforms were saying do this and giving people the wrong legal advice, because that's what they was doing, giving them legal advice.
Right.
And they shouldn't have been.
The thing, Captain. So if any of us speak up against that, we're then labelled as being troublemakers.
And this is the problem you've got at the moment. You've got so many of them that are troublemakers, and so many of you that are going there to do it properly, and you're all in the same bowl at the moment.
Yes.
So that's what I said, podcasters and activists.
Right.
And other people, they say, oh, the police don't let me through, yet they let him through. Don't you think they don't employ people? You can go on Nottinghamshire website now for the police department, and they are actually recruiting people to go through social media posts.
Well, Nottingham's doing that now.
Yes, so they know exactly who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
they're even doing it in the open, though. That's the problem. You see what they're doing now? Before, it's behind closed doors, and we're all conspiracists and that. Now they're making they're making it open. So they're saying, yeah, we are doing it.
Yeah, things that we used to have to speculate.
And I've got family members that are police officers. I've got friends that are police officers as well. So I know what they're doing, and I know exactly what they're watching you. So when you go and behave in a certain manner at one protest and you're giving it all this, this, and this, and then you go to another one, you say, "Oh, he won't let me through. Can't press." Well, I'm afraid they ain't going to let you through because they know who you are already.
Well, I can honestly say.
So
as
when
far
you
as
look at it,
know, for the three of us, you'll never, ever, ever see us going up and causing aggro with someone else. Someone may come up to us and cause
keep me out of it. I love aggro. Keep me out of that. I'll go out just to cause it.
The problem is with it, they're the ones that's getting further up with the subscribers and stuff like that because
exactly
the
it's
drama.
Back. Yes, if you go back,
well, we said this as well, though. We said this as well, though, right? They can only sustain this for a certain amount of time because they're not, the subscribers aren't loyal to them. They're only there for as long as they keep providing the drama. The minute they stop providing the drama, they'll just leave them. They'll go away.
Well,
so
why do you think some people's got like 150,000 subscribers and not monetized? It don't make sense to me.
Well,
yeah,
and I'll tell you exactly how they're doing it. I'll tell you exactly how they're doing it, and they're also paying for views as well. I've been around streaming for years.
Right.
Years.
Where do you stream, Captain? Sorry, another thing. Where do you stream? You're a gamer, aren't you? I'm assuming you're a gamer. Where do you stream?
Not on this channel.
All right. Cool.
And I stream on all platforms at the same time. But I won't. I'm not getting that involved in this lot neither because it.
No. The reason I'm glad you came on is because you're not involved in all of this, and you can see all this from the outside. That's good for other people to see because, again, if any of us say it's for this reason, for that reason, you can see it from the outside clear as day. You've just said all of it, all the things that we've been saying that we get irritated with. You've seen it all.
But the narrative's twisting now, and this is what I'm trying to tell people. If you're calm and collective, we know the lefties are the violent ones. Yeah. Right? We've seen enough footage of this. But if you respond and react to that, unless you've been attacked yourself, the police are always looking at let's say the right side, right? Always facing you. There's a reason they're always facing you. It becomes from years ago with football hooliganism and all stuff like that. Always. Right? So Tommy Robinson has twisted his narrative now, and he made that event in London, and it switched the whole narrative, right? Because everybody went down there and they behaved. Well, biggest majority of people. So it twisted the narrative a little bit. But if you're gonna keep having these certain people that's in your pot, deliberately winding people up and stuff like that on purpose,
again,
and trying to get stuff for clickbait and stuff like that.
That's the only thing where we may be getting confused. When you say in our pot, each one of us is collectively in our own pot.
Yeah, I get that, but you're not labelled as that by the authorities, let me tell you.
Oh, sorry, I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
I thought you meant...
I don't mean... I'm not attacking you as individual people. On the
yeah.
Because that...
I'm with you. So okay. Look, I do apologise for calling you fake. I do, but I'm glad you came on, and I'm glad you come and spoke, and I'm glad you come and told us what you've seen, because it is actually really valuable information. Because we spoke the other day, didn't we, about people that just go up and agitate situations, then end up on their ass, and we know that that's what they planned to do before they even started the situation. Things like that. So. It's good to have your perspective come in, give us that, because again, like you say, this is not your circles. You don't plan to make it your circles, but that makes it even more powerful that you can come in and you see that,
It's same as that. I've watched auditing and stuff like that for donkey's years. It started off in America. It did. And then it came to England. And I've seen people in that scenario come and go, and people put in prison for it as well. Because they don't actually understand the law itself and the way it's written. And that's something you've got to be very, very careful of, the way it's actually written and the way you perceive it and understand it.
Well, see,
unless you are trained in that situation, I mean, you'll probably mix things up or get things a little bit back to front. And then people go and do this sort of stuff, and they're like, "Oh, why?" I'll tell you what I've noticed.
I'll tell you what I've noticed about some of the industrial auditors, because coming from a security background, I can see both points of view in these situations. But what they do is they think that because they've not been told that they're trespassing, they're perfectly okay. The thing is, if you pass umpteen signs, walk in and say no trespassing, then that's on you. There's no defence in the law about ignorance. If you've read a sign that says no trespassing, then that's good enough for the company to start to say, well, you shouldn't be here, sort of thing. You should leave. You don't need to tell somebody in that circumstance to leave the premises because you've already been told.
Yeah,
I've seen.
I mean, they don't
there is a guy.
need to go on the premises at all, do they? I mean, they could just go to the gate, fly the drone up,
No,
film, do the thing, and then go. There's nothing.
And the thing is, this is what annoys me as well. This really annoys me is when they go and film outside police stations and army barracks, because it's quite obviously just to get clicks, right? Because what they don't take in consideration, they've got every right to film on the street outside a police station. I'm not arguing that point, but they don't take in consideration the terror threat level of the country. It's like, of course they're going to come out and speak to you because you're taking photos of a police station during this time in our country when we're on a higher threat level. And an army base should be self-explanatory. Why, if you film outside an army base,
well,
to me.
Yeah, I've been on many army bases, and I've also, when I was in Northern Ireland, I've had people come up with a water pistol and fire it out the car windows as they're coming by. Yeah, it's crazy stuff folks will do. And then you've got, what do? Do you get shot or do you shoot them?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
and I tell you something now, you're not even allowed to shoot anybody unless a bullet comes within a certain amount of distance from you. And you haven't got a tape measure in that situation, let me tell you.
So they've got a miss at point blank range for you to be able to do something.
Just the way it works, unfortunately.
Yeah. But again, Captain, I do appreciate you coming on, buddy. Is there? And again, I apologise for what I said. Is there anything you want to say before I get back to the boys and open up space, just in case anybody else wants to jump on before we close?
No, I just come on to explain myself, and I thought, well, this has all been took out of context because I obviously typing to what you were saying at the time.
It's difficult when you're typing and not talking as well,
and I understand, obviously, that there's probably 10 seconds behind it or whatever, or there's a delay, depending on what you're streaming in, what format,
Yeah,
so,
sure.
So I understand that, but then I thought, then one of your moderators were like, oh, name them. I'm like, no, I'm not going to name nobody. Just like you wouldn't name anybody with a podcast that you was on about. It's not right for me to do that. There's plenty of people who can go and make their own judgment.
Correct.
People can go and make their own judgment about this thing.
The thing is, people know who they are. People know who they are. They know who we're talking about.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, they know who they are.
Exactly.
And I think, and what I've been talking to these guys about as well is, in public, people don't want to say, and I'm talking about the majority of the audience don't want to say a lot, but in private, they all know who's doing what. They know who's doing what. They may go and watch for the drama and that, but they know. Yeah, really.
I mean, it's the old Darren Brown thing where he got a big audience in, and he was saying to the audience, what do you want this guy to do? And they all said, I want him to run out in Middle Road. He run out in Middle Road, and they made out he got run over and died. But they all wanted him to do it, the public, just for their entertainment. Well, and that's the way this game works.
Did you see the Roger Jackson incident? Because this influencer thing is going to get someone killed. Did you see the Roger Jackson incident?
No.
That's mad. That's a mad thing that's happening. And especially Rampage is going around like,
Rampage is like, Rampage, him and Chael Sonnen were actually trying to put pressure on the wrestler to not put any charges on him. Basically, Captain, a guy called Roger Jackson, who is the son of an MMA legend, Quinton Rampage Jackson, went into a ring after an argument with a wrestler. And if you're allowed into the ring, that means you're then playing wrestling, yeah? But he didn't take it that way. And because his chat rage baited him and told, oh, you won't do nothing, you won't do this. And he's
I do remember a little bit something like that. Yeah. He got
in the ring, power slammed him on the back of his neck, which is not where you put a wrestler, and then 22 unanswered punches to his face.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling's fake anyway. I mean, wrestling is fake.
What happened there was not meant to happen. That guy got in there, supposed to be doing fake wrestling moves, and he beat the shit out of him, and it was never meant to happen.
No,
and he did it because he let his audience wind him up.
Well, no doubt he's been charged for that anyway.
Yeah. There's a lot of argument over that because it took him a month. It took him a month to visit his house, to give him any time whatsoever, and then he was out the same day on bail, and they're saying he may get as low as 2 years for it. and he really did lay the smack down on that guy. Pardon the pun, but. So are we cool, Captain? Before we
yeah. I only come on to explain myself. I was like, no, I think you've took this out. And I know it's difficult sometimes when you're reading the chat and stuff like that, but I always play devil's advocate as well. I always have done and always will do with any situation.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you can't work out both sides of it, what you might think's right. And I've always had an opinion as well, is when I've been in charge in many big projects and stuff like that, I'm like, I will take advice off the most stupidest, thickest person ever. And they'll be like, why would you do that? And I'm like, because sometimes he'll say something stupid and somebody will think, oh, that's how we solve it. Because of what he said. This is why I treat everybody the same. Because that's the way life works, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I get it totally.
You know, and you've got to give people...
Captain, have I seen you on my channel before? I think you've been on my channel a few times, haven't you? Sure.
I think I put something about, a couple of times, yeah.
So I'm glad you came on. Sorry about the misunderstanding, but I hope we've opened the door. Perhaps in the future, if you want to come on, you're welcome to. I know, like you said, you don't want to get involved in these circles, but you're always welcome back on. The door is open.
Well, I've been involved in IOPC cases and all sorts in the past, and I tell you, a lot of you get it wrong. And in the IOPC cases, they're not on your side. Trust me. I don't think
anybody's on the side.
And it's always the same.
I don't think anyone's on the side.
It's just like the police marking their own homework, really, and it's very difficult to get anything from it. It really is.
Yeah.
I've been there where they've deleted CCTV footage before when I've helped people in certain cases and stuff like that, where they've deliberately gone to shops and had the CCTV footage deleted.
Yeah, and that's happening a lot. That's happening a lot.
They are. I tell you something. That's why you'll never get a copper report another copper. It will never happen. You'll never see one arrest one on the street ever.
Yeah,
ever. It's all brotherhood.
Close ranks. I mean, the close ranks.
Yeah, it's all I've also interviewed other police officers where they've admitted to giving certain people kickings when they go in police station. And they know how to hit you without marking you. They know where to hit you, where they're not going to be caught on camera.
That's true. And that's the truth.
And it still happens today. So when people get arrested, I always say to them, listen, mate, you ain't in charge now. Don't matter how much you run that off, all it's going to end up is worse for you. Just go in there, say, yeah, you've got me, because they're going to take you anyway. So just go in there, behave yourself, get yourself out, and deal with it after. That's the only way you can deal with it. Because whatever you're going in there, kicking off, you're just going to get one at ribs.
It's true, and I know a lot of people have kicked off, and then
you try proving it.
Kick off to start it off, and then when beers worn off or something like that, then they stop worrying about their animals at home and stuff like that. It's like, wow, you fuck with us, we're going to fuck with you now. Sorry for my language, but you know, and you get a lot of that. It's like, yeah, it's true. How you get arrested, if it comes to that, is going to pay you back later on.
If you just behave yourself, you'll be out the door quicker.
Yeah.
If that's what you're after.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you.
Because there's no way you can stop it there. You're going it back.
The only thing you need to do is be calm. Ask them what piece of legislation they're arresting you or they're detaining you under. Get the collar number on camera and say, right, here's my camera. Take me in. Job done. Well, I'm going to put a civil claim in once this is over. Do what you think you've got to do.
And I won't be taking too much advice off these solicitors neither, because if you're not got your own solicitor there paid, they're just useless. They don't even want to be there. They just get called up, they bought in there, and they'll say anything just to get themselves out of that situation. Never mind you.
Yeah. Hence why all those people during the riots were pleading guilty, because they were giving shit advice from solicitors.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's promo work for a start, and they don't even want to be there. So you can imagine that solicitor's there cooking his barbecue up on a Saturday afternoon. Next thing you know, somebody's been arrested and he's got to go there.
Right. I've got someone that want to come on. Captain, you okay?
Let me go. Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure? I don't want to be.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. I'm glad we sorted that out, buddy. You're always welcome on again.
No problem. Catch you later, pal.
Cheers, bud. Take care.
I'm going to shoot off in a minute, Tom, as well, all right? Just let you know.
I really appreciate you coming on as well, Dan. You know that, yeah?
All good, all good.
Right, well, I'll put the link in there for you, Stefan, and you're welcome. Come in, mate. Do you know what? I actually like happy endings like that. It's nice to get things talked out, and because I'll be honest with you, Vin knows this morning my mic didn't work, then my camera stopped working, then all my volume went out, then Vin's sound was knackered, and then then my studio froze. So I'll be honest with you, by the time I started doing the live, I was
already there
trying to catch bits of the chat and not really taking it in. So it was my fault. I do
it all the time, Tom. I'm always saying about raring about whatever, and I've misunderstood something. Or and when you were both talking, you were saying that, he was saying that, and I was like, well, actually, I think it's the same things that you're saying, but because of delay, we've moved on from that bit, and then the message pops up.
Exactly.
You're thinking it's coming from, what we've just said.
I was messing about the other day, and I was actually joking, but someone else joined in with that joke with me, and I was making sarcastic comments. So they made a sarcastic comment. I took them seriously and called them a fucking idiot or something. It wasn't that bad, but I was like, oh yeah, it is my channel or something like that. And they went, yeah, I know, I'm joking along with you. And I was like,
all I'll say is, Tom, right? All I'll say is at least we haven't had a so-called police officer on our live streams thinking they were a police officer.
We've had no guys wearing eye patches on. No, that's been very refreshing. It's true. We've actually had a real person who's prepared to go and show his real face, his real life.
Oh, that was incredible. That was, even the first time hearing that, I was just like, all right, that makes no sense. Then it made sense.
Danny, he's been on my live stream, mate, and I called him out straight away.
Oh, is it?
And it was like, yeah, you're not a police officer, mate. There's no way on earth you're a police officer. Yeah, and he got threatening. This is the guy who was sending me death threats.
Oh, is it?
Steve as well.
Yeah.
That's wild, man.
Is that still going on?
No, it's ended now. That's been taken care of.
Right.
As you say.
Right. Okay.
Say no more.
Good.
Yeah.
You coming on, Stefan? Did I not?
Let's just say he effed about and found out and realised probably not the best person to mess about with.
This is what has to happen. Has to happen every time.
Stefan, it's there for you, mate.
Right. I'll wait until Stefan comes on, and then if he doesn't want me, I will go, because I've got. Do you know what? Right, I'm going to quickly tell you something about what I found out. I found out, that councils. I don't know if anyone wants to see my show, right? But anyway, councils can open up a private business, right? Trade with the council under that private business and gain contracts under that private business that is actually the council, right? So we've got all these ANPR cameras coming up around the areas, right? And some people in Medway, they were saying, oh, you know what, we've got to do this, that, and the other. And I see it, and I looked at it, and it was this company called Kindy who owns all the cameras, right? So Kindy is owned by Medway Council. Medway Council, the guy who is the chairman for Kindy and on the camera department of Medway Council, is the same person. So he's expanding the camera revenue, right, as the private business, accepting it as the main council person, right, and getting like all of this money. They're getting £2 million, and when it comes back in, they got to disperse it through the council, so all the black holes are plugged and whatnot. And it's going out through the NGOs. I found an NGO that he is with, who they give quite a lot of money to. This is wild, right? How can
just corrupt? Corrupt beyond belief.
That's corruption. So all the local CCTV operators and all that, they ain't got no work, because any work with CCTV or putting up any cameras or fixing them or maintaining them, this other private business, Kindy, right, does actually get the contract straight away, but it is the council. Work that out.
Wow.
That's elaborate.
That's not just a little. That's really elaborate.
Yep. And that's why there's so many cameras coming up, because he's got a vested interest in doing it, and because it can just be within itself. It doesn't need to go out anywhere. They can just install so many cameras, and it comes down to how can every town centre have all these cameras? It's going to be a big outlay. but they get it through the fines. So they put the cameras up, they get the fines, put more cameras up, get the fines, but there's no outlay. It's not going out to tender because this person's already doing it.
Jesus, it's just like someone says, is that even legal? It's like that must have been set up over years to get that.
It is legal under. I'm just gonna get it now.
Oh, Steve's put something up there. It's been legal since the Local Government Reform Act 1974 to do this.
That's it.
Wow. Wow.
And that could be any business. That doesn't have to be cameras now. So that he can open up any business, right? And also the kindy does all the care homes and all the works. So imagine this now. This is what I want to try and get through later on this afternoon. Imagine the care company is bringing in foreign workers to Medway, but it's not the company, it's the council. This is how it could be how they can get a lot of people in without anyone really realizing, because the contracts are all in the house.
Wow.
They don't have to go outside and do the competitions and marketing and all that.
Like totally legitimate business.
Exactly. And they can bring in as many care workers as they want. I don't know. I'm going to put my thing out there. I don't know this is the case, but that's what I'm looking at. I'm hoping it's not the case.
Could also explain why all these foreign security are foreign. These illegal immigrant hotels as well.
And you guys think that they're just selling our country street by street, piece by piece?
Oh yeah, it's money laundering. They're just laundering the money. Taxpayer money is just being laundered right, left, and centre through different NGOs and stuff like that, isn't it? It's coming back to people.
Exactly. Yeah. They put it through all them NGOs until you can't really find it anymore, and then it will go down to the beneficiaries, and that's going to be someone who's working right at the top who started it all in the first place. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Then you got Steve says under 1974, the council couldn't offer MOT and undercut legitimate business. And then Captain said we've just found out that a lot of the money taken from drug dealers are being distributed to charities that support migrants. Wow.
See how it's going at. You see, when I said at the beginning of the podcast, we were in this little bubble and we've got to look outside of the box. These are all the things I've just seen while I've been looking briefly outside of the box.
Yeah.
Forget what this circle activism and people are telling us where to look. Look here, look here, look at this. We're doing this over there. We're doing this here. No. That's all a distraction.
Why I always had that little rule. I know some people. I used to worry that people would take it the wrong way, but I always say to you guys, I try not to watch other people's podcasts. That's why. It's because I don't want to look where they want me to look. I want it to be the results of my own research. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Otherwise, I fear the echo chamber that might accidentally get created.
Yeah, of course, you always will be in an echo chamber. If you always look at the same bits. I had a new YouTube thing. I opened it up, and the amount of new people I spoke to you about it. The amount of new people and the new channels that were getting hundreds of thousands of likes and views and all of that I've never heard of, but they were actually talking the same things as we talk about. But it's because my algorithm has been in my echo chamber. I created my own chamber.
I go to a lot of the bigger channels, but there's a big gulf because there's obviously the channels in our circle, and then there's the bigger channels. But I always think people aren't interested, like the Roger Jackson stuff. I always think people aren't interested in that, and yet I start talking about it. So I was speaking with Captain and somebody else yesterday, and it's always like I go, "Oh, nobody's interested in the tech stuff," and you got two of the biggest tech guys on there. So every time I think people aren't interested in a certain thing, I'm finding out they are. But maybe just gotta tailor stuff a little bit more, to certain shows and stuff. But
anyway, gentlemen,
I know you're going to jump, Dan. So tell us where to find you, what's the best places to find you, etc.
Just come on the Unfiltered Nation, but it does just follow me on Danny Unfiltered, and then it's all going to be reshuffled in 2026 on the 1st of January, or maybe whenever the 5th or whatever. So all the old channels are going to be near enough gone.
Is Unfiltered Nation and Danny Unfiltered, is that a name change, or are they two separate things?
Two separate channels. But Danny Unfiltered is my YouTube now, and that's just going to be shut down totally. And then I'm just going to do my bits. But the thing is as well, I'm not doing it as in like blah blah blah. But I'm focusing locally now. 2026, I'm focusing in my area. Like I know Vin, you do a lot of stuff in your area, and there's not going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be out because it's not going to be relevant to the wider people. So I'd rather just start up a new channel and say, this is what I'm doing now. I'm not going to be doing a lot of stuff, mass activism or whatever, unless I have to. Obviously, I'll do it for certain people, and for UKIP and this. And if I need to come and help people out, or if you want to hold a camera, or Vin wants me to hold a camera, I'm happy to do these things. But I'm going to be really concentrating on my area, because I live in the area. I need
Isn't it interesting though? Beginning of 2025. Maybe late 2024. I remember having a conversation with you, Dan, where we said if we want to make a difference, we need to start going out in our local communities, stuff like that. Vin, you've been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think, Dan, it may not have been you. So if it wasn't you, I don't want to misquote you. But one of the conversations I had, one of you said, someone I was speaking to said, it will be telling because there will be people doing the local stuff, and then there'll be people doing nothing other than sitting there talking about stuff that somebody else is doing.
I think Danny's right. I think what it is, I don't know about Danny's area, but my area, hasn't got an issue of activism at all. It's very, very new. It's very, very. That's why some of the protests you see in Chesterfield aren't that well planned at the minute or well promoted. It's because people just are not used to protesting. It's a very, very new thing. And what's brilliant about this is the lefties aren't used to getting pushback. And this is why they're kicking off so hard in these new areas where activism is starting to rise. And it's funny to watch them kick off, throwing all the toys out the pram.
You saw down in my area how the police are just not up to scratch yet with activism. They don't know how to handle this yet.
Exactly, and that gives you the full advantage, and you've got to take that advantage, because if you don't do it, then who will?
Exactly. But this is I was trying to get people to come down to Southampton, because I knew they would have that weakness, and I didn't want the lefties to take advantage of it first. But anyway, Dan, sorry, I'm going to let you get off, because I know it's difficult to get that.
Lovely
that
to
out,
speak to the both of you. Vin, take care of yourself. Have a good Christmas. If I don't speak to both of you
mate,
in that time, right? So have a good one, and I'll speak to you all later. I'll be listening though.
Mate.
Cheers, mate.
Take care, buddy.
And you.
Cheers.
See you later, mate. Bye.
And then there were two, Vin. Let me see if we can do that. I prefer that background. I don't know why. I always like it better like that. It's cool like that.
Stefan keeps trying to get in. I don't think Stefan's clicked the link yet. He keeps trying to get in.
There now. I kept keeping an eye out before, and it didn't come on. There we go. How you doing, mate? All right.
Yeah, hello, gents. I'll tell you, that was an absolute nightmare. I'm sitting there thinking, am I doing something?
Can you hear it?
Trying to get on.
Can't hear you, mate.
Need to turn your volume up if you can, bud.
It's fully up.
Min can't hear you. Don't worry, it's always a nightmare to come on these things. If you let me take that off the screen, because I can't see if he's speaking. Right, can you give us a countdown?
Yeah.
I think he's doing it on his phone, and that's why it's a bit. He's getting feedback as well.
Yes, so I should have said this to people. So when you come on, just generally on any podcast, I'm just going to mute Stefan just for a second. When you come on to any podcast, I should always tell people this. Always make sure, if you can, wear headphones. If you can't, make sure your volume's kind of down. Because otherwise what happens is you end up with a feedback loop, and then it will feedback through your own phone, and that's when you get noises. So Stefan, you with us? Stefan? Calling Stefan. Do you think he thinks he's turned his phone off?
I don't know. Maybe Stefan, just like kick it.
Stefan, I don't want to kick you in, but I also don't want to leave you in the embarrassing situation of having your phone on.
Yeah, I'd kick him out. So I don't think he realised his phone was off.
Guys in the chat, if he comes back on, would you just let him know he's welcome back in? I'm just worried that it seems like he doesn't know he's on. 1 second. Right, so I'm going to kick Stefan, but only because it seems like he doesn't know he's on. And Captain, how you doing, buddy?
Let me just make sure I mute this and see if I can hear you again. Stefan's all right. I've spoken to him before. Why can't I hear you on this?
Yeah, Stefan's all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good guy.
We agree to disagree sometimes. Oh, if you look up, you wonder. You ask me why some people blow up so fast, right? I want you to look at something called QQTube.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. It's the one where
Exactly.
it's one of the ones where you buy the
yes.
subscriptions.
And
There's
even
another
like,
one
even
as
people
well.
like,
sorry, go on, mate.
Even people like Adam's Got Gold, a lot of famous big streamers have admitted to using it, and the reason they do it is because, yeah, they admit it, yeah.
It damages your channel.
No, you see, this is the problem where people get a little bit mistaken from, because YouTube and also Twitch will not cancel you for this, really, and they never have done. And I'll tell you why. Because it looks good to the advertisement revenue that you've got 6,000 people watching you.
Right.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So they fake it. So as well,
you make it.
So as this Twitch has just got a new AI system like that. It came out a couple of months ago, and I noticed people's figures when I was watching them. They just dropped, because they were like, "Oh, we're going to take a bit of action against this," if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that was on Asmongold. He covered that, didn't he?
Yeah, he covered it. Yeah. But I've known about it for a long, long time.
Yeah, another one.
And they do it as well because the more viewers you've got, the more chance you've got of people actually click. So if you've got 500 viewers,
it's a snowball effect.
People will click on watch you rather than somebody that's only got 2 people watching you.
Yeah. Well, that's why for me, when I'm just starting a new channel, so I'm always trying to get it to a minimum base, because from that minimum base, I can snowball it. But hopefully without having actually paid for anybody.
One of the biggest reasons I always hated stuff like that is because when people come on and gift you members, so they'll come on and say they gift you 10 members, 8 of them members could go to that fake account that's watching you.
Oh.
Yeah. So then nobody's that's legit in your chat is probably going to get a chance of getting that.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about it from that point of view. And so, because I see it all the time, there's a guy called, a guy called MMA Guru's channel. He's constantly he's going off. Thanks for getting, 10 memberships, 50 memberships given away at a time.
Yeah, it's and of course you can also program these things as well using it's like fake memberships as well. So because you can get it so you can set some up so as somebody thinks they're gifting you, it's all AI and stuff like that. So you're gifting 10 memberships which are not actually there, but then it'll encourage somebody else to gift 10 memberships, if you know what I mean.
Right. It's a bit like that first super chat. Some people put their own super chat in because it gets people going. Yeah. Hey, Stefan.
And there's always ways that they'll find out a way to doing it.
Can if we stay quiet, I think we will be able to.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that debacle.
No problem.
I don't know what I was doing.
That's all right. No worries. How you doing, Stefan? All right.
Not too bad. Not too bad, Captain. Hello.
Oh, mate. I've not spoke to you since because he banned me.
Did you know what? He's banned me.
Has he?
Yeah, he banned me and all for some reason.
If you don't like what you've got to say, or if you do constructive criticism, he bans you. So.
But the thing is, Captain, I don't know what. Like I say, I'm baffled. He banned some girl called Green Light, and then he banned me. I'm thinking, what the fuck have I said?
Come on, guys, you've got to do better. You've got to at least know what you're getting banned for.
That's what I said.
Well, we was on a debate panel like this, and we was on about actually fake viewers and stuff like that. And I had a bit of a heated discussion with him, and he was like, well, prove it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to prove it because I don't want to encourage people to do it.
I don't know, maybe he thought I was some sort of plant or something.
It's funny you said that because I was going to put up some of the websites, and then I thought, no, don't give people those websites. Exactly the same thing. Because I think I'm discouraging people, but
he was always on about, we get people on, have debate, talks and that, and like I say, he had a couple of cranks on there, but he just went to jump on there and have a chat with him, and you're blocked. Right,
unfortunately, you get a lot of people like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people obviously try and push the chat as far as they can. So you guys know, for instance, you're not really responsible for free speech on YouTube. Just YouTube creates the guidelines.
This is another thing as well, yeah.
So go on.
Yeah, there's no such thing as free speech on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. So we can try and say, oh, my channel's a free speech channel. What we really mean is I can give you as much free speech as YouTube allows me. That's what it really comes down to, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's ludicrous, but yeah, that's unfortunate.
So it can be a bit of a nightmare. I just realised we lost Vin. Vin, you all right? Are you gone, Vin? You with us?
No, he's gone. But,
Might
yeah,
be that.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the question time with the immigrant that started giving people a lecture on how we should be behaving and looking after these people. I don't know if you see that.
No,
I didn't actually watch Question Time, but I've heard of it on. It's been reported on certain places at the minute, so I think it's crazy.
I mean, if you didn't think the BBC could get any lower, I mean, it's just, you know, and you're getting lectured by somebody who shouldn't even be here. He should not. He's broke into the country unlawfully, and he's sitting there and giving it to the people why we should be looking after him, his family, and his siblings. You know,
this is the thing. It's like I said about David Rudy Cabana's dad, right? Rather than put some blame on his son for what he's done, he's saying that the reason his son was the way he was is because Britain wasn't welcoming enough.
Ah, dear.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're in a situation now, mate, where we have literally got a Muslim takeover. You look where they're setting themselves up. Mr. Yusuf there with the Reform Party. If anybody thinks that Nigel Farage is running that shower of shit, then they're deluded, mate. Absolutely deluded. I mean, it's in their Sharia law to deceive, to lie. They're justified to lie, to suck up to their enemy, you know, get their confidence, and then when the time comes, and that's exactly what they're going to do. You know,
a lot of people. I was talking to Vin about this. A lot of people are putting a lot of stock on the next election, and a lot of us are saying, "Just if we even get there, and if they don't put elections back and everything else." But the other thing is as well, with Labour just doing what they've done and making it so that certain sections of the country are now incentivized to have as many children as possible. Do you think Labour have just reinvented themselves as a party?
I don't think Labour stand for anything like they used to years ago. Anything.
No,
like
but what I mean
it's been invaded by certain people. So
that is the key word that we need to be using more than anything. We are being invaded.
Yeah, invaded. Yeah.
The definition of an invasion is what's happening now.
Yeah.
You know, it's
and it is invasion.
And at the end of the day, this is happening on a daily basis, every single day, and there's no one going to stop it. There's no political solution. We haven't got a police force that protects the people. You haven't got an army. I've heard that the army will not turn on us. That's the sort of. But I think that is the organisation, if you want to call it, is where we need to start using that as the only protection that we've got, because the
it's quite scary. You're right in that we don't have any of those things in place anymore. It is a proper invasion, and it's like it's happened slowly at first and hidden at first. So we've been desensitized to things slowly. So like things that we should be very upset about, and we are, but things that we probably should be more upset about, we're kind of getting used to seeing. We're just getting used to seeing boats coming over every day, and you know, we're getting used to seeing it.
Yeah, but it's getting used to seeing it, and it's. I mean, I personally myself, and this is just my way of thinking. The only way we are going to get out of this in the end is by some sort of purge, because I can't see any other avenue. I can't.
So you and me see it as being quite as bad. I see it as being quite as bad as you.
Yeah.
I see it as getting there, but I'm always a believer of doing the right thing first.
Yeah, but that's why me and Vin were going for the national strike, because because it was legal and things like that. And we felt like go for the legal, peaceful option first before anything else, you know. always try legal peaceful if you can, you know?
Yeah, of course, obviously. I mean, that is the first time. I mean, you know, I've spoken to you before about national strikes and how to defund the government, because all governments need one thing to gain their power, and that's money.
Yeah.
And, you know, people can do this in their own individual ways. You know, you can straight away, you can defund their propaganda machine, which is the BBC. You do not pay that corrupt, unjustified, immoral taxation just to watch that poison box, the propaganda machine, which is the television. You know, it's not just in the news they propagandize; they do it for all programming. In their little subtle.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people, they don't see our country. They look at the Russians as being propagandists, and they don't see our country as being on equal footing when it comes to propaganda, and they don't realise it's just as bad.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a tool that they've used for a very long time.
Forever.
Exactly, forever.
Yeah.
And you know, they've got more mechanisms now to do it than they ever had before. And people's brains are so in the box, you know, and they're in the box. They can't think outside of it.
Yeah.
Like I say, what the BBC did with that fella was scandalous. You can be lightly. I mean, you know, there was nobody in the audience that was questioning, saying, "Well, what the fuck are you doing here?" Even.
And if somebody would have stood up in the audience and said something, they no doubt have been kicked out.
Oh yeah,
that's
how we're going now.
And this is a problem with politics as well, because you can have a certain, say, you're in charge of a certain part of the country, you know, like my MP's Lee Anderson, right? He can come and drink in the pubs, everything, without security, anything. Everybody agrees with him in my local area. We're not affected as much as this migrant situation as they are in the south. So people aren't woken up to it up here as they are down there, if you understand what I mean. But some of these politicians, they're supposed to take advice from the people that they're looking after, but then when it comes to voting in Parliament, they vote the exact opposite because of the whips. Say, if you don't vote this way, we're going to kick you out of the party or suspend you from the party. So it's not democracy, and it will never be.
That what you've explained there, it's not fit for purpose.
No,
the people
on the tin.
And if you have people saying, vote them out then, but that's 4 years is a long time of this.
Voting has never meant fuck all, mate.
Yeah, the people are no longer sovereign. And so I look at it as being a rogue government, really, because like you said, they're doing completely opposite of what people want, you know?
Rogue, they're illegitimate.
Yeah, and when, not long after he got in power, I mean, Keir Starmer pretty much branded the whole country the enemy.
Yeah.
You know?
By design.
It's very, and I haven't forgotten that.
No, definitely not, mate.
You
Well,
know?
the most thing, I did watch a lot of Parliament stuff and stuff like that, is the amount of times he stood up at that box and he was calling the Conservatives liars, cheaters, and all this and that. His party were going to come in and they were going to stop all this, and it was never going to happen. And he's been twice or 4 times worse than what the Conservatives ever done.
Proper
and the way,
Captain, they work for the same. They all work for the same lot. The Parliament is just a soap opera. They all know exactly what they're going to say. They know the digs they're going to give each other. They all play along. It's simple.
I do agree with that. And the reason I agree with that is because if you look in America, when a party does a particularly bad policy, the next one is elected in usually on getting rid of that policy, and they often do. In Britain, they go, "Oh yeah, that was a terrible policy the other party did," and then they keep it and they go along with it. So it's like they're handing the baton off to each other, isn't it?
Well, they come out with a manifesto, and then they say we're going to do this, going to do that, and then when they get in power, they do nothing of it all.
None of it.
None of it. In fact, they all do the. This is why, even if reform get in, I don't think they're going to do a massive change of what people think they are, what we actually want as people, because because not only are they battling the opposition, they're also battling the civil servants. This is all embedded on a wide basis. So,
I think a lot of people have got the same worry as you, and they feel that even if reform are prepared to do what they say, that they're going to be wrapped up in red tape for years.
But it's same as people say to me. They say to me, "Well, who are you going to vote for?" At the moment, there's only one person I can vote for, and that's Reform. There's no Ben B show yet. He's not come out with a manifesto, a plan, or anything like that. Okay, there's a political party there, but it's so young and so.
What do you think about the right-wing parties coming together?
What do you mean? Say that again, sorry.
So I'm not saying it's a good or bad idea, but what do you think about right-wing parties coming together so there's no vote splitting and stuff like that?
The problem is we've had this before. We've had this in my lifetime before as well, where where's it Conservatives and Liberal Democrats came to power just before the Conservatives took full power, and that was a complete utter shit show.
Oh God, yeah,
just as bad. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. That was awful time, wasn't it? That basically destroyed the Liberal Democrats at the time, didn't it? Because of what they did.
I mean, how many years are going to keep using this excuse that we've got no money?
I was saying this to someone yesterday. Haven't we been under like 20 or 30 years austerity so far?
It's been long.
It's never ended.
How long has it been that these politicians, these parasites, have been stealing the nation's wealth? How many times have we gone in recessions the way they've mismanaged the money?
Exactly.
They've been doing this for generations.
When I was younger, we used to have food would get cheap and then it would get expensive and then it would get cheap. Now everything's just an upward trend.
Yeah, they used to put different. I mean, I was born in the 70s and I went through the miners' strikes, so I know what it's like to have absolutely fuck all, mate. I mean, literally. These people have been robbing us blind for generation after generation. You talk about the judiciary, corrupt, not fit for purpose. Government, corrupt, not fit for purpose. All your services, all these big corporations, corrupt. They're stealing the wealth from the people. And the only way we can, with a solution to do anything that's without violence is, like you said, national strike, defund the government, Dan tools, stop 26%, it's even more than that now, GDP, council tax, income tax. Stop paying your council tax. It's fraudulent for a start. It's a fraudulent payment. If you've got to ask for a freedom of information request to get a full invoice for a bill you're asked to pay off your local authority, there's something fucking wrong there, right?
See, me and Vim were saying it's very worrying when you see people online calling for civil war. Obviously, not the same people who want to fight it, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, you've not gone for the most peaceful options, the ones that are legal and the ones that will cause least violence. Those are the options you go down first, even if you've got your concerns about them yourself, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not talking about violence. I'm not talking about.
No, you're not. I know you're not.
What I'm saying is we've got one thing that they haven't got, and we've got the numbers.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
At the minute, we've got the numbers, and there's got to be a way that big platforms where you can network, you can get ex-military, ex-officers.
Do you think that because of teachers being in the position they're in, because of the mainstream media having the narrative, do you think because the loudest people have got hold of certain areas, do you think that makes people feel like they're in the minority when they're not?
Possibly, yeah. It's psychological. It's the tenets of communism. If you look at the first 10 parts of the tenets of communism, that's exactly where we are now.
Right.
And the reason why Islam and the socialist, communist ideologies align is because they're both oppressive. They carry very similar ideology.
Yeah.
That's why, and like I say, you've got the Act of Settlement 1700 that states, Captain knows this, I've stated it before, probably yourself, that states that which was retracted, that should be fucking put back in place because there's a reason it was put there in the first place. If you're not born of English heritage, you hold no part in power, you hold no part in government. It's not apartheid, that is protection for the
absolutely
nation. And we have got infiltrators, usurpers in that corrupt government that are trying to wangle things for their own devices. You know, you've got, and people think reform. You look who he surrounded himself with. If he's offered enough money for Farage to step aside and let his Muslim mate get in there, he's gone because he did it before with Brexit.
He's not got a great record of staying in power either, is he?
No.
No, it's like when it gets tough, he decides to run. But
yes,
Slimy fucking
yes.
worm,
So far,
but at the moment, we've got you have to rather you've got them three parties basically. Forget the Lib Dems. I know they're getting a bit of traction at the moment, but we've got three parties, and who do you really want back in power? None of them really. But you've got to sometimes pick the best of the bunch. Or
exactly.
Captain, listen, that's why we are where we are, because we're always choosing the best out of a pile of shit.
The best of the worst.
It's not democracy in its purest form. It's not representation in its purest form. All it is deception by the wordage and legalese. The way that they use legalese against people, because one word in legalese can mean something completely fucking different.
Yeah.
Excuse my French.
Yeah, I've tried to explain this before. Yeah.
And like I said, they're attacking us from every single angle. Whether it be people keep stating legal this, legal that. I'm not interested in legal. I'm interested in lawful, because statute laws and legalese is where they got us by the bottom.
And they've weaponized the courts against us now.
Exactly.
They've weaponized everything against us.
You've got Lammy saying he wants to get rid of tribal jury. Who does this? Who the fuck does he think?
Well, I've got the perfect answer to solve that situation, and it happens in everybody else's work life. Is let's make the courts work 24 hours. It happens in supermarkets.
Yeah.
There's many other people have to go to work over a 24-hour basis. So why can't they to deal with the situation?
That's true. Because a lot of people are talking about backlogs and that. You're right. You're right. There's a lot of.
I mean, they start work at 10 o'clock and then they finish at 3. They have an hour break in between that. There's no bloody wonder they ain't got time to sort something out properly.
That's what they make a good point. Yeah. What is wrong with extending their day or their week?
Well, extend the day, the week, or whatever, and let's do it over 24 hours. So what if you have to go to court 1 o'clock in the morning? Rather going to go there because you want to go there and defend yourself, or if you're wrong, then you have to go and defend yourself or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Nobody wants to go to court, are they? It's not going to really bother most people what time they go, is it?
I meant they do X-rays and MRI scans now at hospital at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
True.
What's the difference? Why can't courts run that? That'll save the backlog.
That actually would work, because the people who could make it, but there'd be a load of people that could.
There's no such thing as can't make it. If you're in trouble and you've got to go there, you go there. That's simple as that.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you can't be bothered to turn up, then you take the consequences. You don't.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's a good point. But of course, they're part of the system, so they're not expected to do actual work for their money.
There's a lot of other people work very, very hard in this country, very hard, for 12 hours a day just to barely make it by each week. So
yeah, and for relative peanuts.
They get paid plenty of money, same as doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife works in a department where she actually knows what some of their pensions are and stuff like that. She deals with that, and it's massive, extortionate.
Yeah.
So they're not hard done by.
Oh no.
Like they make out and they.
In my view, the whole system's gone, mate. It needs to be scrapped, and all the institutions that we thought that were the right and just moral compasses of our societies have gone. They're no longer.
But we need to be ready to replace them, because otherwise the left to come running in with their anarchy and breaking things down ideas,
Exactly.
But
we need to.
But yeah.
To get people that are not corrupted. And be able to get, like the Guild Bar, lawmakers that are putting proper laws in and bringing back laws that were retracted out of our law books long ago for fail-safes, and put them back where they should be.
do you guys think one of the big problems that we have is that we keep voting for, let's go back in time, but we keep voting for people that have got a hell of a lot more money than us, and therefore don't know what it's like to have to struggle to buy a pint of milk?
It's not a true representation.
No, I don't believe that neither, because
it's not true representation.
You can quite easily
have a House of Commons with no common people, if you want to bracket yourself in that term, but no common people that represent you. know where you walk in your shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look at Angela Rayner, though, look at she was supposed to be a council estate woman and grown up with nothing, but look how she's turned out. So it don't necessarily make it's when you go in a normal workplace, right? You can be working under say a group of 10 people, and you're all working fine, you're all laughing, joking, going on with the job. They make one of them in charge of your whole. That one person then instantly changes. Click of a finger, then is a complete fucking arsehole.
As soon as you put a badge on someone.
As soon as you put a badge on somebody, sometimes that's just, and
unfortunately that happens to a lot of people. Not everybody, but that happens to a lot of people. Yeah, you're right. You are right. Listen, guys, I'm going to wind this up in a sec because it's been going actually over a couple of hours now, which is pretty good. So not a bad first stream. Is there anything you guys want to say before we go, or anything you want to advertise, or anything before we wind her up?
Other than as all of us, we've got to really start thinking outside the box. Try and coming up with some positive solutions to our absolute disastrous situation we're in.
Solutions.
We're getting it from every angle at the minute.
Yeah, we are.
And there is, in my view, no political solution at all at the minute. There's no one there that represents the vast majority of the people. We're being governed by a 9 million voted in illegitimate government. So stay strong. That's all I'd say.
I want to argue with you about that, but you're right. You're right about this. I want to say to you, no, there is a political solution, but I feel like it's right. The only thing is a stroke and it's running away. So I'm with you. How about you, Captain? Before we go, anything to say, mate?
Yeah, I'd just sooner we try everything legal before we do anything stupid. That's just my opinion of everything in life, really. To be fair,
I agree with you 100%.
I mean, I've been in situations before where I've been sort of terrorized for 5 years. And this is what annoys me when people say, oh, homeless people and stuff like that, we should give them a home and stuff like that, especially a lot of drug users and stuff like that. I lived outside of one of them for 5 years. It was an absolute freaking nightmare.
Jesus.
Music at stupid o'clock in the morning when you've got to get up at 4 for work.
Yeah.
Drugs, you can smell it through your ass because they're smoking it and shit. It's a fucking shit show. And when you try and do things the right way, this went on for 5 years, by the way.
It bites you in the ass, doesn't it?
You're on the council, you're on the police and everything. And I ended up taking things into my own hand and I went and smashed the whole place up with a scaffold bar.
Really?
Lucky enough. Yeah, because I was had enough. I'd lost my plot by then. It's mentally draining. You can't concentrate at work. It just destroys you.
You're not sleeping at night either.
Oh, you're scared of everything. You're scared of somebody. You're scared of somebody nicking your property or whatever, or breaking into your house when you're not in or something like that. So this is why sometimes people don't want help. They have to wait till they want help, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I've been in
their time's not ready yet to help them.
I've been in a similar position myself where nobody could help me until I was ready to help myself.
Yeah. And I've been through loads of life experiences like that. Loads. And from one thing to another. That's why I'm so opinionated on stuff. But
that's right though.
Still then, after 5 years, I went through that for 5 years and well, me and my family. And eventually I had to take things into my own. Luckily enough, I didn't touch one of them. So there was no, I didn't get arrested for it. Basically, it was a civil matter because it was I damaged their property or whatever. But at the time, it was me against 5 lads.
Oh,
so you go round, you knock on the door, 2 o'clock in the morning, mate. You got to turn that down. You can't carry on with this. Fuck off, mate. What are you gonna do? And then eventually, I was like, I'll show you how I really am. No more nice guy.
That's a lot of stress to be carrying around, though.
Yeah, so
you don't want to be that guy, do you? Let's be honest.
No, I mean I'll defend myself all the time within reason, but I'm not an aggressor.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. I don't like,
Sometimes people just not ready to be helped, and sometimes people actually die before they're even ready to be helped. But you can't help them all because some of them don't want help.
No, that's right, and I've also realized as well. You've got to if you're trying to help people, you've got to also realize that as well about who wants to be helped and who doesn't, because you're best putting your time and effort into the one that does, and give the person that doesn't their time to figure that out, because otherwise you're just wasting resources that you could be helping the one person that does want to get better, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
it's a hard thing to do though, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, right, I'll let you carry on.
All right, listen, mate, I'm glad we sorted things out.
Don't worry about it. I don't take things to heart.
I do apologise, but you've been brilliant. No. You've been brilliant.
No problem. Have a good day, mate.
You too. Thanks for everybody for joining. I'm gonna switch off now. So everybody in comments, thanks, mate. Everybody in comments, everything. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for giving me my first podcast without 0 viewers on. That was this big scare. Was that doing the first one? I'd have 0 people on there. And yet we've actually had, not loads, but we've had a few people on. Steve, thank you so much for modding. You've been modding all the way through the chat. We need to try and get Dave over here somehow. It might not be free today, but I don't know if he necessarily is aware of this channel totally. But Steve, you've been doing a great job again. So I can't see that. What does that say? Sorry, I'm missing that. Need to make sure I'm not missing it. Oh, no worries. That was more me than anything. That was me at the beginning of that, so that was my fault. But no, thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for the I will go for all the comments I've missed that this thing hides. I will go through it. I always go through the comments as well, by the way. So anything I miss on here, I do go through again. But obviously, when you got multiple guests, your mind is on making sure that you're looking after your guests. So you're constantly going back between the chat and the guests. So, and also making sure everything's still working. But really, really appreciate it today. Don't really get much of a better first stream than this. We've gone from 20K down to not even 100 people, but I've enjoyed it just as much, probably more, because there's no chip on my shoulder. So it's great. And it was great to be able to settle things with Captain like that. I felt like a bit of a dick the way I approached that. So it was good to come away like on good terms and stuff. And he is actually a good guy. I thought he was. And it was just great to see Danny and great to see Vin always. And those two guys will always have my respect. So love you all for coming in. Anybody I haven't mentioned, you know you're in there. Hopefully we get Dave on next time and that as well. Stefan, thanks for coming in. All of you, brilliant. Love you all. This is Tom Fury for Zero News. Our first independent launch out the way, guys. So I love you all, and I'm calling it a day for now. Take care, everybody.
Father, please, you can have my Led Zeppelin records, George Michael, anything. That's my boy! Wimp.
I don't know why, but something is wrong.
Rule Britannia!
The TV is crazy and the truth has gone. I might be crazy, but I think we're done. There are people out there who are adverse to fun.
Communism is king.
It's on your news. Even your neighbor has been here. You can see it on YouTube. It's time to shine a light on all the things they don't want you. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next.
Commander Worf, don't be a cunt.
I'm having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
Having a ball.
Fuck you, Mr. Roscoe.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
That's for people.
What?
What can I do? People know the truth.
Shut the fuck up.